What's up, friends? Today's episode is actually one of the premises why I wanted to start a podcast. I've got some pretty incredible friends in my life, and we have some awesome, insightful, wacky, fun conversations. And I thought this medium is not a bad medium to share these conversations with you guys. Now, I have two friends whom I resonate with on very different levels to most of my other friends. You know those friends. You've got them. You know what I mean? You've got a friend that is into this one thing that most of your friends aren't into, and you and that friend, you have a little thing. So I've got that thing with these two guys. Not these two, but these two guys on the episode. And one is a accomplished and world-renowned choreographer. The other is an accomplished and world-renowned drummer. Both creatives. We share a very common interest in things like fashion, pop culture, music, sports, all kinds of crazy stuff. But our conversations are hectic. They're very funny. The perspectives from these two guys are brilliant, and I wanted to share them with you. So I have Stephen Tannos and Don Cenen Cabrera on today's episode. Enjoy. Let's go, guys.
Wait, am I doing this? I'm doing that. You talk about Easter eggs. Am I doing that?
Happy Mother's Day.
I knew this was going to be a challenge. You know what's funny?
Yeah.
When I decided to kind of like do these kind of angles and shots, I had the two of you in mind the whole time. I did.
You had these uniquely angular faces in mind.
That too, but I just wanted to have you guys on. I wanted to do this. This was like one of the episodes I was really looking forward to, which is like I was badgering you guys to come on because I was like, we have mad conversations.
We really do.
We do. And like people would benefit from listening to it half the time. And I just thought, why not just do a podcast?
Hey, yeah. And we're proud of you, bro. This is
Bro. Thanks, man.
You can all see the work that's gone into this. It's unbelievable.
The detail's crazy.
Yeah. Look, man, I'm all about nuances, and I didn't want to leave a stone unturned, and I'm really happy with it so far. Like, there's still tweaking to go, but you know, at the end of the day, it's all about the conversations, really. 100%. Like, all of this is beautiful to look at, but if the conversation's shit, and if it sounds shit, because sound's more important than the visual.
Listen to this, baby.
Sure, boy.
I set up my teeth. This is crazy. How's your weekends been?
I'll be back. Can I be back?
Yeah.
Just grab my tea.
You just do what you want.
How's my weekend been? It's been good, man. It's been good.
Bro, you just came back from New Zealand.
I did.
How
yeah.
was that?
It was good, man. Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch, Queenstown.
Wow, bro.
Yeah.
That's like a tour.
Just doing like a little teaching tour. I did like the big swing.
What was a tour?
What was that?
It was a tour.
It was a tour, yeah. And before that, I did like 10 cities, like Queensland, Gold Coast, Coffs Harbour, Byron Bay. I forget.
Which one was your favorite?
Queenstown, bro.
Queenstown.
Queenstown's unbelievable.
Yeah, bro. I love Queenstown.
You've been there?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
I've done gigs there.
We did that giant swing, the giant swing thing.
Yeah.
Where you're like, you're sitting next to
How high is that?
It's a 70-meter free fall, and then you like swing for 300 meters.
Are you crazy?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I literally was like walking down the bridge to get there. Like,
I can imagine. Has anyone ever died or fallen off?
I didn't Google that.
It's probably the worst thing to do before you do something like that.
But yeah,
surely somebody's
100%.
You know,
there's definitely been some malfunctions, I'm sure, but I chose to stay away from that information. But it was exhilarating, bro, and I'll never do it again.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm too scared of heights.
Yeah, that's honestly the part. Like, you get up there and you're just like you're sitting on the swing. Basically, they take you out and you just like freak, like just dangling, basically.
Yeah.
And that's the worst part. And then after you do the swing, they then drag you back up to bring you back in the way that you came. So that sucks too. You're just literally just sitting there, just like,
wow.
Yeah.
I had a young parkour athlete on the other day, and we did an episode, and he talked about fear and how they overcome fear because they're jumping from rooftop to rooftop like ninjas.
Yeah, bro.
and some of the heights that they're jumping from is ridiculous.
Is he one of those guys that does like from tall building to tall building?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like hectic stuff.
Far out.
And his crew that he rolls with, they're like Red Bull athletes as well too. And what was really interesting, on top of the kind of athleticism and, you know, the feats in which they do what they do in their sport, or what I've coined now as their art form.
The art form.
Is how they deal with fear.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Like the way that they can mitigate fear. A lot of preparation is involved, obviously, because of what they're doing. And the mindset for fear is something that I feel like can translate just everywhere in life. To any industry, to anyone. So that was like a huge takeaway for me from that conversation.
Do they have like rituals and stuff that they have to engage in?
He used that word.
Ritual.
Yes. He has rituals. Yeah. One guy, his name's Dom Tomato. He's like an icon. Dom Tomato.
Dom Tomato.
Yeah. He's an icon, like one of the goats in that world. And he's got this 3-2-1 method.
Right.
Whereas when he starts with 3, if he second guesses after 3, that's it. He doesn't jump.
Right.
And then from 3, then 2, and then bam. But all of that's done in like once all the preparation.
Right. There has to be so many steps. Yeah. I think you watch something like parkour, and it's interesting you say art form, because it can definitely get a bad rap for it just being like these renegades that just like, oh, I'm going to jump off that thing and go to that thing and then just roll down that thing, and there's like no thought to it.
They got beef with the gymnastic world.
Really?
Like legitimate beef. The gymnastic world want to like destroy parkour. It's crazy. Watch the episode.
Okay.
To have a good listen.
They meet up in car parks like.
No, you know what it is. You know what? It's not unlike. It's not. Check this out. I'm gonna kind of bring it back to what you guys do. Dom plays drums unbelievably well, and Stephen dances unbelievably well.
And a gigolo part-time.
So in their world, right? You've got these parkour athletes who are just like real rough around the edges. They've got a unique style. They're very athletic. A lot of what they do is bordering gymnastics. But when you put them in an environment where there are gymnasts who have been training a certain way the whole entire life, to watch these guys doing what they're doing, but in a really rough kind of way.
Yeah. Right.
It's almost like, what are you doing to our sport? But
it's like bastardizing it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So what I want to ask, I'll ask you first.
Sure.
With dancing, okay? So it's not unlike ballerinas watching you guys dance, because your kind of dancing is real free form, right? And it's really aggressive.
It's
aggressive and it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, it's what the confusing thing about my style is that it is, and I think all dance to some degree is rooted in a technique, whether it be ballet, whether it be hip hop foundation, whether it be, those are probably the two main kind of things, I guess, if you're talking about my style, I guess. But it can often get a bit of a bad rap for it looking untrained. But there is so much control and center and groundedness that does come into it. And I think you have to do it to actually experience it, to know that. Because I'm trained in ballet, I'm trained in hip hop, a various amount of different things, but I've definitely taken those things and then like roughed the edges of them kind of massively to then divert into the style that I'm in now.
Right.
But it can get a bad rap at times, for sure. But it does come from a place, because I think all art comes from somewhere, originally that is a practice and a skill set. But I've just kind of taken the wheels off that now and just really roughed it up. And it's like angular and necky, and like I'm constantly in pain. But it's definitely something that can get a bad rap for sure.
Right. And so with the dancing world in the way that it is, are you guys placed in a certain category? Like, do you have a subgenre for the kind of dancing that you do?
I guess it falls into like commercial dance.
Right.
I guess. But then within that, there's so many other different kind of subcategories and subgenres. And I think as dancers, as we've gotten on through the ages and where we are now with social media, especially, and how connected we are with the rest of the world, there used to be 6 or 7 kind of subgenres, and now there's like 50 to 60 to 70 different subgenres, and everyone kind of has their pockets and things. But what's kind of cool about what's happening now is that, especially in Australia, I think we're kind of seeing street dance kind of not infiltrate's the wrong word, but street dance is kind of connecting a little bit more with the commercial scene, and the commercial scene is connecting a bit more with the street dance scene. The contemporary world is kind of coming into play a little bit as well. And we're kind of seeing things divulge a little bit, which I think is super inspiring. And that's always been something I've been interested in kind of bringing those styles together. So it's like, I don't know, it's really cool to kind of see that happen now and see it kind of, see us unite. It used to be a very us versus them kind of mentality.
Yeah, right.
And I don't know if it's the same in the music world, if there's anything you could compare that to, but I think it's becoming a lot more connected now. And that's such a dope thing. And I've always been a fan of, like, I don't care where you're from, how you trained, what your upbringing was, what community you're a part of. I think at the end of the day, as cheesy as it is, like, dance is universal.
Yeah.
Like, you can go to any country in the world. I've been to Japan. I've taught in different countries where they don't speak a lick of English, but I can speak the language of dance. Again, this sounds so cheesy, but it's so true.
It's true.
And literally they understand every word I'm saying.
Yeah, right.
Without understanding nothing. And you hear how fast I talk to them. I'm like, brrr, and they're like, got it.
Wow.
And I think we're really starting to get a lot more connected with, especially with social media too. Yeah, I don't know how I got to that answer, but
That's awesome.
yeah.
Do you find, like, people who they've trained a certain dance for so many years, they're able to infuse that into this new kind of commercial dance
Totally.
that you're coining?
Totally. Yeah. And I think just by virtue of certain artists that exist and that have come up in recent years, and there's certain artists now, there's an artist called Dochii who
She's great.
I think is an amazing example of, like, an urban artist. She's a rapper, right? Her music is, if you just were to listen to it, you'd have this image in your mind of what the visuals are.
It's very theatrical.
But then, exactly. Yeah. But then you watch her, I don't know if you saw, she did a music video to her song Anxiety.
Right.
When it's like a musical out on the street. It's like a
Does it give you
big time. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It's like erratic and it's crazy and it's
I
like,
thought you want to just do something chill.
yeah, right. Yeah, it just makes me want to sip tea and just contemplate life. No, but that kind of that visual kind of converging with this sound, I think is encouraging artists and seeing more artists do that. It's encouraging artists to step outside the box, and I think that's what we should all be striving to do, and that's what really has always made me tick. And you guys are the same as well.
Yeah.
You know.
I want to talk about perfection and a perfectionist mindset and how that can be, a huge disadvantage as well. So remind me of that. But
absolutely.
I want to ask Dom. I want to ask you with regards to playing drums, like when you've got the basics of playing down so well, and then you get these young cats coming in who don't even learn rudiments or just anything, the fundamentals. They just don't care, and they just get on the drums and they play, and they're like absolute beasts. How does that, as a drummer who's been playing that instrument for so long and has gotten down to the nuance of the fundamentals, how do you embrace that kind of playing, or you encourage it, or do you try to bring it back to some fundamentals?
Yeah. I think you take some and you leave some. Like naturally, like they're obviously, they have the modern language, which is like nowadays, it's not really fusion anymore. Back then, the virtuosic style was like jazz fusion or jazz, Nowadays, it's like coming out of gospel and stuff, right? In pop, like that's the connection. Like the best pop artists are from gospel. Like they're the best musicians in the world. But you see the holes. Like my experience would give me the eyes and the ears to see the holes in their playing. Like they can't play without click. A lot of these guys can't play without clicking.
Really?
Yeah. You'll notice. So like they'll do at a jam night, they'll drag, and you can see the other musos getting bummed out. But they can go on tour the next day, like comfortable with the click track.
Because a jam is obviously click free. Like that's just because you're just kind of following,
reacting to what's going on. Do you know how to bring it down for that singer? Do you know how to lay something down so the bass player is comfortable? Do you know, like you have to be aware. You have to be a musician. You have to be. So they kind of lack in that department. But when it comes to playing loud, one volume, and sorry,
could you bring the mic just a little bit close to your mouth?
Sorry, when you play. But yeah, when it comes to like just playing loud, one volume, really hard in front of like 30,000 people
in an arena.
Yeah, exactly. They can do that all day.
Yeah, right.
You know,
Wow.
there's like the dynamics and like. Yeah.
Is that like a fearlessness, or is it just a confidence that they know they can do it? And
Yeah, and also just the demand of their landscape. Like now, click is available to them. Like
right.
those are the gigs that are
it's
available.
easy.
Back then, it's like
technology is advanced. So
yeah. Back then, it was like I better be able to. My skill set better be able to fit whoever calls me. If it's jazz, it's jazz. If it's fusion, it's fusion. You know what I mean? If it's ballad, it's ballad. Like that's a big difference.
And in your community, I would imagine like a lot of these younger up and coming drummers look up to you.
Hope so.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know they do. I have conversations with them about it, and even people my age, we absolutely love how you play and love playing with you. So, in saying that, do you find it challenging when you can't do a gig and you need to recommend one of these young guns?
I've failed in that regard too.
Right.
Like
Tell me about that.
People give me shit
Like-
for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a rough one, yeah.
Who shall be unnamed.
Bleep it.
Like one of my like senior students who's like, you know, is studying at a tertiary level, killing it. I thought he's like way beyond opera bar. Like he'd be like, if I couldn't do an opera bar, I can throw him in there. And I did. And to this day, my bandmates still tease me about it. It's like, bro, you threw us under the bus there, bro. That was horrible. And I'm like, really? I'm like, I thought he was.
But that's not your
I was
fault.
like,
I mean,
But yeah, how are you to know that? Like,
yeah, true. But like that's the thing. That's exactly what I mean by one. I thought because his skill set was so advanced in one thing,
Yeah.
I didn't
and you'd
know
only
that it-
seen him do that particular thing potentially, right?
Yeah,
Right.
And once I put him in there, it's like, oh, that actually needed a whole different skill set that
That
you know,
doesn't maybe exist as much in that space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if that guy just lays down something, can you just make up a beat? Do you know when to bring it down? Do you know if they don't know what's going on, can you lead like, let's go to a bridge and make it feel like we're going to a bridge? They don't. Like,
that's just lack of experience, right? And also learning from others that you're playing with and taking it on board. You know how some young players are, quite arrogant.
yeah.
And they don't want
And
to
maybe set in their ways of things that they love and kind of stay in that lane.
and maybe don't respect older musicians and their perspectives.
Yeah.
Which is, I think it's a two-way street. Like older musicians can benefit and learn from younger musicians and vice
100%.
versa too. So
sure.
I think if you're going to evolve and grow as a creative,
100%.
you've got to be open.
Yeah.
I mean, I sat here and spoke to a 17-year-old parkour athlete and just learnt about fear.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm 51.
But that's
and I'm
the
learning
thing.
from a 17-year-old.
We
It's
can all
great.
learn so much from each other.
100%, man.
And the sooner I was, and because I've had struggles with that in my career, and I still come up against it. And I'm sure you guys can relate as well. There's moments where you question your relevance,
Right.
and you can only get stuck into thinking of there's these young cats coming through. They're better than me. They're more exciting. They're more virile. They're more this. They're more that. And the sooner I was able to, and I'm not saying I'm perfect, and I still have days where I'm like very much in that mindset. Yeah. But the sooner I was able to go, wait a second, if I flip that and go, what can I take from this younger person that's coming up with this new perspective who I used to be 15 years ago? What can I do to not improve, but enhance my landscape and my vision if I was actually listen to this person and collaborate with this person and hear their ideas?
Yeah, exactly.
And it makes what you do so much richer just by virtue of being connected. Because you are right. Like, I think there needs to be a huge importance on young talents or young artists coming through and respecting the people that paved the way before them, but it's very, very much a two-way street, very much.
Yeah.
It is.
And I learn that the older I get.
It's such a different landscape for young people now because it's almost like that quick learn, quick buck, quick everything mentality.
Quick, like dopamine, quick.
That's it.
Short
exactly.
attention span.
And that's just how they're wired now from such a young age. But you know what's really interesting is that they're all so caught up on being perfect. Let me tell you something funny. The other night, I did a podcast. It was a 3-hour episode, right? It was with a country artist by the name of D. Tommy. Awesome conversation. It was so funny, just great perspectives. She speaks so well. We finished. I looked over here. I forgot to press record.
So it's not recorded?
Are you recording?
I'm recording now, but I learned
But
from that.
your podcast was her, wasn't it?
So hear me out. I could not believe what just happened. Like I was embarrassed. I was pissed off with myself. The conversation was so great that I was just like, oh my God. Anyway.
How long was it?
3 hours. Anyway.
Wow.
So.
Just a good conversation.
Well, yeah, I was mad. It could have gone longer. Anyway, we decided to have some dinner and I begged her if we could do a round 2. Right? And look, you can't really go over the same things and
It's like in a bottle.
yeah. And she's such a genuine, organic person that she couldn't really
reenact it.
No, she couldn't really reenact it. And you could feel it. And it was just like such a shame. Anyway.
How did round 2 feel?
It was shit. I tried to make it, as good as the first, but it just wasn't going there. Anyway, so I managed to listen back to what we'd done just because I was going to just edit it and just see what we'd done. I realized these 2 cameras picked up all the audio.
Boom.
Yeah. But it also picked up all the noise. So it sounded terrible.
Right.
But you could hear our voices really clear, but in amongst all of this noise. Anyway, myself and a friend of mine, whose name's Dave, shout out to Dave.
Hey.
We did some magic and we cleaned up the audio as best we could.
Yeah.
Right? It's not as amazing as what
This
you're
is
going
right
to be
now.
listening to this as, but it was good. Yeah, I break the 4th wall. People tell me not to do it and I don't give a fuck.
Fuck you, 4th wall.
Exactly.
You're going to scare me.
All right, stop. Anyway, so I cleaned the audio up and I thought to myself, I'm going to put this out because I want people to see that sometimes you're going to fuck up and it's all a part of the journey, right? I'm even going to put out my first test video. That's going up.
Perfect.
Which is something that I never thought I'd show anyone because it's literally the first thing I filmed. I hadn't really finessed or understood anything. And it's not perfect. Even that episode with Dear Tommy is not perfect, but the conversation was so great. Much like my test video, the conversation was hilarious. I don't want to forego that being shared to the world just
Absolutely.
because I'm being perfect about, wanting the vocals to sound amazing.
And be perfect, trying to be perfect about the minutia that the audience at large probably won't even pick up on.
100%, man. So I've let go of that. And it's freeing.
Yeah, man.
Totally.
Like even this episode, if something fucking happens or whatever, if I forget to turn, there's a lot of things to turn on and have working before anybody comes in here.
100%.
So I got to be on top of that. But I just thought, you know what? No one may watch this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I could be worried and stressing out over absolutely nothing.
Absolutely.
But what I wanted to ask you on that tip was I'll ask you, no, actually I'll go to you first. When you listen back to a take that you've done or a gig that you've played that's been recorded and you hear you playing some bum notes or, I don't know, maybe pulling back on a groove too much or just coming in and out of tempo and blah, 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 whatever drummers stress out about on the gig, do you just let it go or do you ruminate over it in your head?
I'm a natural ruminator.
Oh,
I'd love to say, no, I don't. Yeah. I'm a natural ruminator.
But how do you overcome that? Because at some point you've got to let it go.
Yeah. Well, I don't reshare it if I don't like it.
Never sees the light of day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what if others do?
Yeah.
What do you do?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm trying to. I've over the years, you have your own coping mechanisms, I guess. You know what I mean? And you kind of just honor it, like, man, the joy of live music is the fact that humans are playing it, and is the fact that sometimes you could be in the edge. That sometimes the mistake happens because you're in the edge of something.
Yeah.
Like everyone's pushing it, and then you're making so it kind of in context that mistake is sick. It's like cool, that guy found his wall. You know what I mean? And it's cool like that. And I have, in my world, in the drumming world, there are the guys that are like super polished. You'll never hear them publish anything with a bum note. Yeah. And they're the guys that's like, they're so joyous, even amongst the mistakes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
And that's part of why people get them and stuff. So I try to remember those guys.
And you remember yourself as an audience member too, right? Like you much prefer to see someone living in that pocket of a little bit of danger.
Yeah.
That to me is so much more exciting anyway.
Yeah.
Than something that's just polished all the time.
Yeah. And sometimes that moment is when the crowd goes, because they see the band members look at each other, go,
Yeah.
100%.
and then they're like, oh, wow, like there's the interaction.
Well, it makes them seem more human, right?
Absolutely.
'Cause, you know, when you're watching the people that you revere, you put them up on a pedestal.
Absolutely.
And they seem godlike.
Yep.
And they can do no wrong.
Yep.
But when they do, you're like, oh, fuck, they're just humans.
Yeah.
It's like celebrities.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
when you see that.
meet them in person, you're just like, oh.
You see that photo of Ben Affleck having the cigarette, just like hating his life. You're like, oh my God.
Dude, there's a Theo
They
Von,
have real feelings.
there's a Theo Von episode
Yes, I
where he
listened
talks
to it,
about
yeah.
how he's now a meme.
Yeah, totally.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
What about you, man? Like, what do you do when you watch back your dancing videos? And because dancing's, it's kind of the same but different.
Yeah.
Where, you know, like if you're not like Janet Jackson's Entourage,
Yeah, right.
Rhythm Nation
Yeah.
days,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yep. Yeah, look, my style is born from imperfection.
Right.
So I think I let go of that a long time ago,
Okay.
to be honest. I in no way, shape or form am I comparing myself to this person, but very similar to, I don't know if you guys know Bob Fosse.
No. Oh, the name sounds familiar.
Bob Fosse is a choreographer who like famously had like hunched shoulders, turned in like posture, like pigeon toes. Like he just, like if I stand up for a second,
Yeah. I'll keep it wide.
like he was like, he lived in like this was his natural posture.
Wow.
And he, you know, he was just awkward and he couldn't like, you know, do other people's choreography and whatever it was. And he eventually made this style, which is now known as Fosse style.
Oh, okay.
And he basically turned his posture and his imperfections into his superpower and made this whole style based around it. It's a style to this day. This is back in, I don't even remember when it was. It would have been 60s, 70s, whenever it was. To this day, I could get those dates really wrong. Don't come at me if I do.
Wait, you know what? Let's look it up.
Bob Fosse.
Let's look it up.
Yeah, Jamie, pull that up.
Yeah.
Hey, Jamie, pull
I
it.
call it shamey because I can't afford it. Jamie.
Jamie from Wish.
A Jamie from TV. All right, who am I looking up?
B.O.B.
B.O.B. Yo.
Your last search was facts about the moon.
B.O.B.
F.O.S.S.E.
And it's like 2014. It's not even 60s. Somebody.
He's still at large.
Oh, wow. Okay.
There he is.
So what am I looking for? He was
He was born in 1927
born in 1927. Great
and he
band.
died in 1987.
Yeah. Ooh,
Wow,
Yeah.
my birthday. Yeah.
There we go. So, oh yeah, you were born in
Birth year,
87?
yeah.
Chicago.
He choreographed Chicago.
No, he's from Chicago.
No.
Did he choreograph?
Wait a minute. He choreographed Chicago and he's from Chicago. Of course.
Yep.
That
Wow.
makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
All right.
Choreographed Chicago, Sweet Charity.
Whoa.
Yeah, you would have definitely seen his stuff before.
Yeah.
Or if not, his direct stuff, thousands of things that were inspired by it.
Yeah, wow.
He's actually pretty graceful, man. Even with that posture, he's got some pretty graceful moves.
Totally. And he worked, the thing that was crazy about him was he worked with dancers that had perfect facility and perfect technique. And
When you say perfect facility, are you talking about like clean toilets and
yeah, absolutely. The facilities were immaculate. Yeah, everything's sterilized.
Dad joke certified, by the way, baby.
But just talking about him is like his style came from imperfection, and I feel, and again, I'm not comparing myself to him, but I'm just the situation. I was that similar dancer where I couldn't really hit the lines like everybody else could. Like I don't know, there's something about my body and the way my body is structured, and I was a gymnast before I was a dancer too, so everything was like
Were ya?
yeah.
Well, that kind of like adds, right? That would be
You
don't
think
think?
so, but I feel like
strength?
in a way that detracts. I think because I think dance is about fluidity. Dance is about, in some ways, yes,
Right.
but I think generally, no. Dance is about fluidity and connectivity, and gymnastics is about strengthen, make bigger, make stronger, more solid, and they don't really go hand in hand. But anyway, to just circle back around to your question,
Yeah.
I've kind of always been okay with just sharing myself with where I'm at currently. My most vulnerable, my most honest, my most raw. And it's kind of become a part of my brand, and I'm kind of cool with it. And I think the times that an artist can actually be, I'm not calling myself an artist. Ugh.
you are
Of course, bro.
Sure.
100%. Like what you do is an art form.
The times when an artist can be their most vulnerable and open, I think that's their best work.
Yeah,
And
of
it's
course.
been very true for me. So I've just allowed myself to like trust that process and just be okay with like just some things just being okay sometimes, you know.
Well, I mean, when you look back at those performances, it's a gauge for you to do better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
I think failure is very important.
Yes.
I've failed more than I've succeeded in life. 100 times over.
Right.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
10x failure.
I mean, that's just, you hear that
I've
all the
learned so
time.
much. I mean, failure is a teacher, right?
Yep.
It's the best school to go to in life in general. And I would imagine with dancing, I know dancers can be super critical.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's same with drummers, musicians, dancers.
Well, musicians and dancers are quite similar in that regard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird how it's almost like it's transcended community and more it's gone into competition when we should be lifting. It's funny when I was talking to Che, the parkour athlete, in their world, they don't compete with one another. There's no real competitions
Really?
in that world. No. It's
Not even through Red Bull and...
No, there are some competitions, but it's not super competitive as opposed to they want their peer to actually make the landing.
Yeah, right.
Because if they don't, they could die.
The ramifications are different.
Yeah, they could break every bone in their body. You know, there's serious ramifications.
So you wouldn't be stepping into a competition hoping that person falls?
No. Oh my God, no. They
pretty
call
sadistic.
it bailing, by the way.
Right.
Yeah, no, you don't. You want them to make it.
Isn't that interesting? Once your life's on the line, you're suddenly wishing
Wishing well. Yeah, wishing
you know
well.
what I mean?
You know what? I used to think MMA athletes were probably amongst the elite when it comes to putting their body on the line every
Right.
single time they compete. I've since changed that to parkour.
Right.
Those guys are jumping off like rooftops that you're just not meant to jump off.
Well, what's always amazes me about them is like the way they land things. Like that I feel like is a massive part to their art form, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And some of them have developed like these sacks on their elbows and body that has kind of like Darwin's theory of evolution happened as a result of all of the falls.
Wow.
And now it's created like padding. For
Like calloused almost.
yeah,
Like,
Like Muay Thai athletes when they kick, their shins split and, you know, repair and they have callus hardened like calcification. Same thing with their bodies. So I would imagine your body has morphed into a position that can do the things that you love.
Sure.
In the way that you do it.
Yeah. Even though it hurts like shit
And
now.
I reckon if you were to try to correct your bodies, it would affect all your playing and your dancing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If I was to change too much about it, I think it would, I've like recently been going to the gym a lot more, and as much as I enjoy that process and enjoy the results
You
of
look
that.
amazing right now, man.
Right.
Fuck,
Thank you.
You're like ripped.
Tamarind boy.
Tamarind. It took me a while to get that reference when you first said it. I was like, do I smell like tamarind? What's
Can
going
we
on?
put up
No,
a
it's
photo in post so they know what
Yeah, send me the photo.
Put it before and after. But as much as I love that process, I have found it to be not so beneficial with my dance. So I'm thinking I need to kind of just plateau out a little bit where I am now.
What have you found?
I just similar to what I said earlier about the gymnastics. Just I'm feeling like
Stiffer.
I'm becoming like a Chippendale dancer almost, like a Magic Mike dancer.
Wild blows afloat.
Yeah, exactly. I'm finding things. Maybe this is in my head a little bit, but I'm finding things to be less
It's a thing.
fluid for sure.
When you put on that muscle,
Yep.
you know, you're going to get a little bit slower.
Totally.
Yeah, and
And I've been
because-
taking creatine and upping my protein, like all that stuff.
Yeah,
Like I'm like,
you
what am I
should anyway.
What am I trying to do?
You look amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
There's that fine line between wanting to look amazing and then obviously wanting to be functional.
Totally.
So I've gone down more functional path
Yep.
now with my training as opposed to when I was younger wanting to, you know, look more muscular.
Yep.
I'm looking muscular as a result of my functional
Well, yeah, I feel like
training.
you've been ripped to shreds forever. As
I've
long
got
as I've
fast
known you.
metabolism, so but like at my age, you know, everything slows the fuck down, and it's a lot harder to put on muscle mass and stuff. But
Right.
I want to be strong.
Yep.
I want to be functional and strong.
Yep.
So I still maintain it, even if I'm not competing. I still maintain.
Because you're still training heaps with the MMA, aren't you?
Not heaps, not as much as I used to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but enough. Yeah, I'm valuing the less pain that I've been in since I was training harder.
Well, you split your foot open or something, didn't you?
I've had so many injuries, but I'm just valuing not being in pain every day.
Totally.
Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
Because like as much as I was thinking about this the other day too. I was thinking about you and your Jiu Jitsu, right? And like I love combat sports. I love training. I love competing. But there's this thing in the back of my mind as I've gotten older. I've realized, okay, if I'm going to go and put myself into these situations, am I strengthening my body or am I weakening my body?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then is it worth it? Because it's going to mean days of being in pain.
Yep.
And then you got to train again.
Totally.
And it just kind of like accumulates over time.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that quite a bit with Jiu Jitsu because I haven't been training a lot lately just by the nature of my schedule.
Right.
And my body's been feeling pretty good for the most part.
It's good to have a break though.
Absolutely.
It's good to have a break.
Absolutely.
Like you have to train
Yeah,
to sharpen your skills and to get used to the cardio and everything, of course.
totally.
But it's good to, rest is just as important as training.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm not very good at acknowledging that at times because I just think once I start seeing results with anything, and I'm sure we're all the same, we're kind of addicted to that feeling of like,
Of course.
this is doing something, so let's keep doing it and let's never stop. But since I've been doing jiu-jitsu a bit less lately, I'm finding that to be beneficial because like you just keep climbing up that tree and eventually your body just like rejects it, I think, after a while. And it gets to the point of like diminishing returns.
Yeah. And then you're like one roll away from being really injured.
Yes. And I'm lucky that I've kind of, touch wood, not really had that happen yet.
Yeah.
Because I want jiu-jitsu to enrich my life and not be another thing that I need it.
I think everyone should do jiu-jitsu. It's fucking mad.
I think everyone
Community's mad. Just the sport is incredible.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think everyone needs a hobby at least. Like that jiu-jitsu is just a hobby for me. Like, I think
it's a way of life for some people.
Totally. But like, I mean, just the nature of having a hobby, like I'm sure we can all relate to the fact of like, you know, what I did for work started as my hobby and my passion. And then it got to the place where like, that was all I did and it was work, you know? Yeah. And then I got to, in my mid-30s, I was like, I don't have a hobby, you know? And jiu-jitsu has been like a lifesaver for that.
What do you think the differences are between a hobby and an outlet?
Wow. Hobby and an outlet. I mean, a hobby is I feel like is kind of, and now that you said that, I feel like jiu-jitsu is more of an outlet.
Let's Google the definitions.
It depends on the context of the conversation too, right?
Yeah.
Because like hobby is kind of like, it's extra, it's a choice, while an outlet feels like it has to be there to let something out within you. Like
totally.
But that's a context. That's one context. You know?
Yeah, I feel like a hobby is like knitting.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Something just kind of menial and like.
You're right.
Well, an outlet.
A place or opening through which something is let out. That's also like your anus.
Yeah, it's my favorite outlet.
Dom, famously favorite outlet.
So you could say to somebody, you know what? I don't have a hobby, but I have an anus. And like, how would they respond to that?
Jiu-jitsu is my anus. That's
okay. So remember that. That's what an outlet is, and let's find out.
Quick question, rapid fire. What's your hobby and what's your outlet? Without thinking about it too much.
Okay, my outlet would be mixed martial arts because I want to just let out some steam and that because I'm very, passionate about it. My hobby would be motorcycles. Wait. Let me find out what the definition of hobby is.
Wow. Interesting. What's your hobby? What's your outlet?
My outlet has to be jiu-jitsu, but it's also cooking. Like I find that very, very therapeutic. Hobby. I don't even know, hey.
Right.
Okay, a hobby is a pastime or recreational pursuit, an activity done for enjoyment during one's free time. Yeah, so I was right. The MMA for me is something that I'm really passionate about. It's an outlet for me. I get to let out some aggression and steam and frustration, blah, blah, blah. Also get to learn a skill. It's incredible. Whereas motorcycling is like a pastime. It's like I don't do it that often.
Right.
And it's a recreational pursuit, as this says. Mm-hmm. I really need like a Jamie or something like that because this is really annoying.
That's good. You got to go and chat for a second.
I'm gonna get ChatGPT, that AI tool. Yeah. ChatGPT.
And you can just chat straight into it.
But the other day I had a mate of mine here, and he had his, and he goes, ChatGPT, I'm going to call you Jamie, and you only respond to me when I call you Jamie.
Yeah,
that's sexy.
And it responded.
Jamie,
and
Jamie, pull that up.
Actually, it didn't respond, and he had to correct it, and it said sorry. Crazy. So I'm gonna set that up here so I can just yell it out.
This is great though. What's your hobby and what's your outlet?
Man, this is the first time I've separated the two, because it feels like I would have answered the same thing for the both. And nowadays I don't even know, man. For the longest times, both have been drums, work and hobby, and I'm really bad at splitting it up.
Because that's the kind of thing, though. That's the blessing and the curse about what we've all decided to do for work. It's that it starts as this passion, and you're still passionate about it, but then it becomes the thing you need to do to survive.
Yeah,
and all of a sudden, it's way more heavy than it started as. You know?
Yeah. Funny enough, if change was to come, it happened yesterday, or 2 days ago, because I decided to do my my annual social media detox.
You
and
cut off your Instagram?
Yeah.
What?
I stopped it. Yeah.
That Vinicius is gone?
For now, yeah.
Wow.
Wait, so can you bring it back and start off where you
so
left?
just temporarily deactivated it.
All right.
And that kind of that separated thing for me. Like I was back then, I'd hate having free time and doing something else, because I'm like, I should be making content, or I should be practicing, I should be doing this, I should be recording. It's like my long ass to-do list. But now I could just look at my kit. I'm like, I don't have to be in that world. And
do you find
just let it be and just be like on YouTube watching NBA highlights and stuff.
And is that since going off social media?
Yeah, I feel like that's another thing. I didn't realize how connected it was.
Yeah,
like it's entangled with what started up as a passion, which is now work, is also now tangled with an online identity.
Yep.
How I think people look at
brand.
me. Yeah, brand.
Yep.
Which is my work. And, and like the voice in my head sometimes is like, because stories have become like work, right? Like it feels like an obligation. And I tell myself it's because of work. I'm keeping my brand up. I'm like, people can see me. I'm reminded.
That's how you justify it.
Yeah, that became how I justify it. But I'm like, I was freed of all that since 2 nights ago. Like, man, I didn't have to for a bit.
Wait, so tell me more about this.
Now I can separate it.
Social media, because I'm like very much in the weeds of that right now, and it's something I struggle with. I don't know if you can relate. Like I struggle with this massively. Like social media just kills me.
Yeah.
And I'm just very clearly addicted to it. It's a drug, and I'm very aware of it.
Yeah.
Like, what made you want to do that?
I started it accidentally last year. Like I didn't do it on purpose. We went to Thailand, and then I went to the Philippines to live for a bit, and then the rest of the guy, we went to Thailand for a gig. The rest of the band came back, and the content just became too much. I'm like, I'll post this later. I got overwhelmed.
Yeah.
At every second, we were like, we should catch this, right? Like after a while, you start
100%.
What we used to tease Gen Zs about, we would do every time there's a popping event in real life, we put our phones out
and like kind of not be in it.
Yeah, enjoying the moment. I'm like, since when did I used to be this? And so it just kind of went for like 2 months without social media until I'm like, okay, to be in the Philippines and known by the musos there, I need to have an online presence.
And like, you're talking 2 months, like fully no social media?
Yeah. Wow. I was gone for 2 months last year.
Sounds liberating.
So now that I'm not in the Philippines and I just consciously did it now, I might just keep going for as long as I can. Who knows? You know what I mean? But now I don't know if it's blurry. I'm like, it's super quiet. Is it because I don't have, like work-wise, is it because I don't have social media?
Yeah.
Or is it because it's winter? It's going to get blurry in my head. So we'll see.
Yeah, your mind can frame that however it wants to.
Yeah.
And it will.
Yeah. There's TED Talks
there we go.
with people who have built multi-million-dollar companies with absolutely no social presence whatsoever.
Wait, tell me more.
That excites me.
Yeah, that excites the hell out of me.
Check it out if you love listening to TED Talks. There's quite a few.
Yeah,
and
please.
they talk about how we are almost misled when it comes to the whole concept of marketing and how important social media is to have, blah, blah, blah. And look, to some degree it is. You have to see it as a tool, especially if you're using it as, for your business. You got to see it as a tool. You got to learn when that tool is needed and when it's not needed. And if you can put it down and not distract yourself from a distraction and just be okay with doing nothing. There's a book behind you, Dom, just there on that shelf by Ryan Holiday. It's called Stillness is the Key.
I'm reading a Ryan Holiday book right now.
Yeah.
Discipline is Destiny.
Yeah, this book. That book.
Okay, I need to read that.
Is incredible. And what it teaches you about this concept of like doing nothing is doing something. Do you know what I mean? And what it can do for you and how it can reset you. Because we take so much from our bodies and our minds every single day. And we never really give back to the degree of how much we take from it. Do you know what I mean?
This is literally what you were, I don't know if you remember, you were telling me this on the phone a few months back about the cup, talking about life as a, and like I've held on to what you said about that to me. I haven't applied it as much as I'd like, but it's a learning process. But the way you framed that to me was amazing. It just made so much sense.
I've just come to understand how important energy is, like the management of it, the nurturing of it, the protecting of it. You know, it's, for me, it's everything. I won't put myself in a situation if I don't feel like I've got the energy for it. If I'm not overflowing with energy, like overflowing to the point where everyone can have his energy for you, you get energy and you get energy, you know? If it's not that, oh man, I'm chilling out on the couch, you know? Like this, for example, before you guys came, I had a half an hour nap.
Right.
I feel recharged.
Like your pre-gig naps.
Pre-gig.
Well, I walked in and you were like on one.
You know why? Because I've been in so many situations, and I'm sure you guys have as well, where you walk into a room and you're all about to create something special, and the first thing you hear out of everybody's mouth is, bro, I'm so tired. Oh my God, I've had the craziest day, man. Fuck, I'm so tired. But yeah, let's get through this.
Let's get through this.
Dude, we're about to like enjoy the art of music together. And these people are watching. They don't give a fuck if you're tired. Do you know what I mean? So what I like to do is I like to approach it where I will overflow with energy enough to bring to the table to give to others who don't have it, because they may not be in as fortunate position as I am in life where I can do these things. These people have got families, they've got kids, they've got wives, they've got all sort of crazy stuff. They're doing jobs. You know, it's all that kind of thing that plays into the depletion of their energy.
So you're basically saying you, and this is amazing to hear, you do things when you feel like you have enough energy to offer the situation at large as well.
Yes.
And not just have just enough to get yourself through it.
No.
He's always been like that. Because sometimes if you don't feel like you're going to be a good hang, you won't go out at all.
No way. I'll just stay at home and I'll tell people, look, I'm not feeling social. Yeah. And like understanding your boundaries is so important as well too, because the last thing you want to do is go there. If you're tired, you'll get into a conversation that you will ultimately regret. You'll say something and then you'll ruminate over it for days thinking, oh, fuck, why did I say that? You know?
Or you won't say enough and you feel like you're just kind of like being an energy suck to everyone else.
Exactly.
I'm just trying to start getting better at that.
For what you do with dancing, I mean, you're teaching a class full of like people half your age.
Yeah, literally.
Who have got like...
It's at that point now where it's literally that. It's literally, I did the math the other day. I'm 36, they're 18 for the most part.
Wow.
Yeah, it's happening.
So how do you, like, what do you do to prep before that sort of thing? You must have some rituals. You can't just walk into a room after a shitty day and just go, or can you just switch? Some people can.
It's tough. I'm in that zone right now, literally right now in my life. And it's been happening for the last year or two, maybe. I've only just become aware of it, where I've realized that for the longest time, I've just been surviving a lot of situations.
Yeah, right.
And getting through on like just sheer grit or like raw talent.
Yeah.
And I'm at that stage in my life now where I'm actually understanding that for me to continue, if I want to keep continuing to do this, I need to have healthier practices around preparation and around what you're talking about, my distribution of energy, because the way I've been doing
and
things,
protecting it.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. I've started meditating a lot. Like I'll often meditate before going into it, like a big class, especially. Like there's some festivals I teach at that there's like 200, 300, 400, 500 people in the room.
Yeah. Wow.
And like, I've been in my car 2 minutes before that class starts having like a panic attack.
Wow.
And I'm literally in my car convulsing. I'm like, there's no way I can get out of this. So,
these people are paid to come and see you.
Yeah. And they're all so excited and it's not even just, I've tried to remove myself from it being just, it's not even just about me. It's about the energy of the whole event and like, and I'm here to service that.
Yeah.
You know?
There's a lot of pressure in that as well.
There is. Yeah.
So you carry quite a lot on your shoulders in there.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm
an anxious person by nature.
Fuck.
I take that as a yes.
Yeah. Big time.
Can I ask you a question? with regards to anxiety, I've been exposed to the dancing world for many years as well. And I know in that world, people will focus on the most minute things and turn it into the biggest thing, right?
With drama queens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and that carries so much stress and anxiety with it.
Yep.
Times that by however many years you've been dancing. Do you feel like that industry is anxiety inducing?
Yeah, massively.
Right.
Massively. Because it's just, and I'm not here to shit on it at all.
Are the teachers aware of that though?
Aware of what?
Well, like how much anxiety that art form can cause their
I
students?
think so, but it's always kind of laughed off.
Yeah, right.
Not laughed off.
Is it ever mitigated? Do you guys ever talk about it?
Like, are you talking about in regards to the anxiety that it imparts to the students?
Yes.
Yeah. I think.
even yourself.
Yeah. I honestly think over the last 5 years or whatever it has been, maybe the last 3 years, the conversation has definitely shifted into that direction.
Yeah.
Because if you talk about the age where I came up and like that generation.
With 90s, 40s and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Charleston.
Yeah, when the Charleston was originated. Back when the Balkans were dancing.
And just to clarify, we're not talking about performance anxiety in particular, right?
No.
The anxiety of being a dancer.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
being
not just the general anxiety, like, and how that can translate into your normal life.
Right.
Yep.
Because it doesn't just like stop
Yep.
when you walk out. It'll be the same for you as well too with your playing.
Yep.
You must have situations where you play with guys who, you know, are of this insane talent and expecting you to be the same. And at any given moment, you may not be feeling it. Like, what do you do to mitigate that?
Because there's a lot of weight on your shoulders as a drummer too, man. Like it's
right.
just, it's
Yeah.
insane.
For me, the drummer is the leader of the band.
Oh,
Yeah, preparation. Preparation is always I used to be bad at that when I was a kid, man. I used to think something in me was just like so gung ho.
I'll be fine.
Feeling like a hot shot, like I could like look at the material 2 days before. Or 2 nights before, the night before, and I'd be like, "Oh fuck!" What have I done? You know what I mean?
Been there.
I've had a couple of those.
wait, like where you're just like, I'll be fine. And then you get there and you're like, oh, I'm not
dude,
fine.
Yeah, and then I'm up till like 4 a.m. of the gig day. I'm like,
Why do you think we do that? Because we all do that.
I procrastinate anything, didn't leave anything. Sometimes it's naturally like, this isn't my cup of tea, but this is work and I should do it.
Right.
And you know, you're not as diligent as when you're a kid.
Is it different if it's something that you're really like
Yeah.
connected to?
Yeah, hardcore.
Right.
Yeah. For example, like the other day I had 2 artist gigs kind of at the same time. I definitely leaned on the other material more than the other
One more than the other.
Yeah.
Yep.
Shout out to those artists. You can pick which
You
one.
know, I killed both, so you can't tell that joke.
Just follow Dom's IG and see where he's at these current times with what gigs. Actually, he's not on IG, so don't.
Your voice sounds so good on these mics.
Yeah, dude, but
thank
the
you.
both of you, I don't want to talk because the both your voices are like,
voice.
Actually, these in-ears are a little bit thin sounding, so it's not pleasant in mine, but I would imagine in the
It's luscious in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I might go back to the overheads.
Can I take both your takes on preparation?
Sure.
What, like, has it changed as you've matured? You prep?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I feel like if I put some prep work into things, I stress way less before the gig. And stress mitigation for me right now is like up there. Sleep, hence the book, is
Amazing.
number one priority.
Yep.
Stress mitigation is in my top 3.
They're the 2 biggest killers we come to find, right?
Everything. It's funny, man. Like, people will always say to me as a flex, "Oh my God, you don't look like your age," blah, blah, blah. And I'll say something like, it's because I've got good stress management, and they don't know how to respond to that.
It's not what they want to hear. That's not a sexy answer.
No.
Yeah,
And
it's
it's
not
purely,
the same thing.
and there's obviously skincare routine and sleep and eating healthy, blah, blah, blah. But it's purely leaning into the power of saying no.
Ugh. Did maturity have a lot to do with it? Because why
100%.
was I like that when I was a kid?
Yeah, maturity,
Not at all.
definitely. I give way less of a fuck. Again, the book underneath that one.
Hey, it's not a lot of giving.
Way less of
giving
a fuck now on certain things
Yep.
that used to cause me stress. And I'll say no to a lot.
But how long did it take you? How long did it take you to be okay with that?
Oh, years, man.
That's what I need to know.
It took me into my, I want to say late 40s.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Because did you feel like your life was run just by just having to appease everybody?
I feel like I was chasing everything.
Yes.
And as a result, always coming up short, always being disappointed, always feeling like, fuck, I poured all heart and soul into that and it didn't turn out how I wanted it to turn out because I had such high expectations.
Never meeting your own expectation of what you...
Yeah. I'm my own worst enemy.
Yeah.
And so I've learned now to just chill the fuck out.
Right.
If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. You know what I mean? Like and that whole concept of it is what it is. Like
that's everything, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. Sometimes you can't change people's minds. Sometimes you can't change people. So you have to just accept them for who they are or just distance yourself from them.
Yeah.
Some situations, if you say yes to it, that it's on you. If it comes with all that stress. Do you know what I mean? Like accountability, and we make our own choices in life. You know what I mean? Like some people, unfortunately, things are forced upon them and they don't have a choice, but in general, we all make a choice.
Yep.
We choose our paths.
Yeah, because I've found I've really been struggling with that for the last 5 years of my life probably as well. Mm-hmm. Just feeling like I got to appease everybody. I got to live up to this. And a lot of it's just in my own head. A lot of it's like this own expectation of myself and this own image of myself that I feel like I've accumulated over the years. I feel like if I'm not delivering that at 1,000 at all times, I mean nothing to anyone. And it's exhausting to keep that up.
Yeah.
And it's something that needs to change, but it's only very, very micro changes I feel like are happening with it at the moment. But hearing you say that is comforting because, you're someone who I obviously admire and look up to. And
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no, 100%. But
look, I still fuck up all the time.
Yeah.
But I think as I've gotten older, I just give less of a fuck over how it impacts my life. I just shrug it off half the time and, your edge light just went
no,
on.
your edge light. Right.
Mine's still
I'm
on?
not blue anymore.
Damn,
Shit.
son.
See what I mean? This is what I'm talking about. Shit just fucking
I'm
happens.
sure
Perfection,
I'm sure it
baby.
still looks gorgeous.
In my ears, there's this weird fucking electrical noise going on. Can you hear it?
Yeah, like a tiny little...
Yeah, it doesn't come out in the mics, but it's there. But I don't know what it is. There's a lot of
All good.
Sounds
baby.
so
shit.
good.
Let me just check that mic. Actually, so what do you guys think about I just paused because I thought it'd be funny.
What? What happened? I missed that.
I use that as a cut point.
You said he'll pause. Oh, he'll pause.
What do you... Oh, and you'll come back straight back into that. What do you guys think about...
Can you hear that?
Dance floor.
What the fuck?
Do it on the dance floor.
Why'd he go up?
I don't know. Looks like I'll fucking have to buy a new one.
Yeah, that sound doesn't come through though. That little...
Before we leave that topic completely, I heard today, and it stuck with me, and I'm going to keep it in my heart for a while. I heard it in a podcast, just a random podcast I went on when I woke up. The guy's measure of happiness is the gap between where you are now and where you want to be.
Say that again? Sorry.
Some people's measure of happiness, according to this guy, this gentleman, was the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. So if you close that gap, if you're where you want to be right now, then you're happy.
Yeah.
Measure of unhappiness.
Measure of unhappiness.
It would be, yeah.
That makes so much sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm just constantly searching for something I just am not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like never enough.
Yeah. And the closer you pull that gap.
You know what's...
That's
you know what's...
beautiful.
Okay, so before I did that crazy pause, sorry, the edge light just bugged me a little bit, but now it's like, whatever. I wanted to say that... Oh my God, I just fucking forgot. What
All right,
is
you're
going
50,
on?
bro. You're allowed,
Oh
lad.
my God.
You're allowed,
I
lad.
was just
Chop
like,
it
on
up.
this train of thought. What were we just talking about?
Chop it up the way.
We were talking about... Wait, were we talking about...
Like measuring your energy.
measuring
Yeah,
your
you were
energy?
talking about closing the gap of unhappiness and
Like expectations and
See,
stuff.
this is what I love about this.
Yeah.
This is like
real.
a conversation that we would be having
Yeah, 100%.
in a
Like,
restaurant.
Yeah, someone gets up, goes to the toilet, and then we're like,
Yeah.
wait, what were we just talking about?
So there's a reason why the three of us connect really well together.
We good, man.
Okay, because we have shared and common interests that
sure.
we're all very like passionate and genuinely curious about, which is what I love. I don't really have many friends outside of my circles that I can talk to about fashion, for example.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas
Totally.
you guys get it, you love it, you're into it. So this is why this kind of a thing, I want to make it a regular thing.
Absolutely.
Super important. I also think it's important to have...
We're the Brendan Sharp and
With Brendan Sharp, Brian Callum.
Brian Callum.
Yeah. This is the flight companion.
That's it.
Am I Joe Rogan? No, I'm like Joe Rogan Josh.
Clip it.
I thought of a fucking hilarious pickup line. If I was to go like try to pick up a girl in a club,
I'm ready.
I'll walk over and go, did you call an Uber? And she'd be like, no. Like, what was your name? Oh, it's Sally. Hey, I'm Andre. Boom, boom, boom.
Be more of a taxi, right?
Huh? Fucking racist.
Sorry.
Motherfucker.
Sorry.
You know what I was thinking too? It's like those guys are giving brown guys such a bad rap. You got the call center guys, you got the scammers, you got the Uber drivers,
I know.
Oh my God. Like I can imagine that's how they see me.
Not at all. Come on.
No.
Right,
Whatever I'm wearing, whatever, I would imagine. they'll be like,
You're firmly the exception to the
he
rule.
looks really cool for an Uber driver.
I think you're doing a lot for that stereotype. Just by
$800 hat for me.
drinking from a $6,000 Christian Louboutin glass or something.
300. Anyway, so let's talk about fashion.
Okay.
Also, to behind you, Dom, under Ikigai, which is a fucking amazing book, is
Which one?
Stylepedia.
Sup?
Bro, I need to borrow some of these books.
Okay, I don't like lending my books out.
Okay.
Just go and buy them, man. They're cheap.
True.
Just take the recommendation and go and buy the fucking thing. This
a fair call.
book is so fucking cool. It basically takes you through fashion.
Am I allowed to touch it?
Yeah. Fashion through the eras. I'll be honest. I like sharing my books, but you know,
I know, I get it. I've lent that many books and they never come back to me.
I've lent books out to people and I've asked them, what did you think of the book? Oh, I haven't read it yet. Oh, like you've had it for a year.
Yeah, and they've lost it. They've moved houses.
Give me
and
that fucking thing back.
Yeah.
Because I like to reread these books.
It's sick.
What the heck?
Yeah, that's great.
So it goes through the eras.
Yeah. All of the eras of fashion up until now. It's incredible. It's crazy.
Bro.
Dre's going to bring that back for sure.
100. That's the next podcast right there.
Isn't that the mask?
Yeah, that's Dre already.
That's the mask.
That's Dre on a Tuesday night at home by himself. They call me Cuban Pete. I'm the king of the rumba beat. There he is. Chick, chicken, boom, chick, chicken.
You're a fucking asshole.
No, what you like?
Ladies and gentlemen,
Cuban Pete.
Mambo number 5.
Sorry to hijack. How did fashion start for you guys? Were you guys the stylish kid from the get-go in preschool? And
Nah, I thought I was, but when I look back, I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck was I thinking?
Wait, you got to clip some old photos in.
Let me explain. I was into fashion,
yeah.
but I never had style
Yep.
I was into fashion. Stop.
until now.
Right.
Now I feel like I've lent more into my own style.
Yep.
I'm still fashionable, but I've learned more into my own style, which I feel like you guys have too. Like you've always had style, man. Like
You've always.
you've always been that guy. Whenever I've gone to a gig, I'm like, oh fuck, I need to
Step my game up.
step my game up because Dom's gonna fucking
The
look
other way
sick.
around now. Cheers, though.
Oh,
And then I come to meet up with you two guys.
all
I'm like,
subjective.
Jesus H. Christ. I feel like, you know, that Simpson episode where the Marge Simpson buys that one dress and she gets complimented on it. It's the only dress she has. So she has to keep repurposing it. That's me. I'm got my singer, like sewing machine at home. It's like, oh, I'm meeting up with the boys again tomorrow night. Damn it.
I'm going to actually bring some of the guys from the shops that I love to shop at
yeah.
onto the
Sick.
podcast.
Nice.
We've already talked about it, and we're going to like chat fashion, especially
love to
fashion
hear.
here in Australia as well too, like how hard it is to bring in certain brands from certain countries, blah, blah, blah. But I wanted to ask you guys, how important is looking good to you?
You want to start with this one?
Again, like
You look so
the pretty answer wouldn't be like not that important, bro. But like, yeah, it's a big deal. If I was quickly like skim through my childhood, when it started and why, both of my parents are super vain.
Right.
They look good. Yeah. Like dad, super stylish. Okay. Like
they're always dressed to the nines.
Slim jeans, loafers already.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like sweet talking my teachers.
Really?
My teachers, yeah. Always be like
fellows
that.
in general.
And then
fellows in general.
Yeah. They stand out like that. And then mom was just always super chic. Like my female friends would like look up to mom's style. Always be like that. And then I think just anime, growing up and like watching anime gave me that like main character energy, you know, like that vibe. Like, and then being into punk afterwards, where I'm like, I go against the grain. If everyone goes this way,
you had that whole punk phase, hey? Like we're talking like the Used, Story of the Year, like in that kind of pocket. Yeah.
Till now, yeah. Like that's always, it's a big part of my DNA, like the going against the grain. So those are like the big reasons.
Yeah, for me, I found,
like dancing too. Like dancers always, they look great.
Yeah, for the most part. For the most part. Just thinking about 5 or 6 people now.
Can I say something that once you start delving deep into anything, you start to realize, oh, this shit wasn't as cool as I thought it was.
Oh man.
Do you know what I mean?
Dude,
like that person who I used to think dressed mad. Oh.
Totally. I think once you're that far removed away from anything, it's like
it's a very superficial conversation, but it's very important because how we present ourselves, you know, to the world makes a huge difference.
Totally.
I'll give you a story. I remember back in the day, when I say back in the day, I'm talking like 5 years ago, I would go shopping. And when I go shopping, I kind of like, you know, like to look kind of nice. You know what I mean? Like the Don wanted up. Hey. Anyway, I remember going into these shops and I remember I went into this one warehouse. It was like a warehouse and they were, I won't mention the brand, but I walked in.
Diesel.
It was Ed Hardy. I walked into the store and the girl behind the counter came up. She goes, oh, blah, blah, blah. You know, you look so cool, blah, blah, blah. And we got chatting and then they gave me free clothes.
What?
Yeah. And
to put it on your Instagram and stuff?
Yeah.
Right.
Like continued to give me free clothes every time I went in there. All because I went in there looking fly.
You got to dress for success. It's a real thing.
You know what? You never get a second chance at a first impression.
Hey.
So, having said that, do you have days where you just go, I don't give a fuck?
Oh, yeah. Bro. Like every other day, it feels like, you know, and it's something I'm trying to be more aware of.
Right.
And that's, you know, as shallow as this sounds, this is why I love hanging out with you guys. There's a multitude of other reasons, but it's
this is a shallow conversation to some people, but it's like very relatable conversation.
No, but it's like
a lot of people.
The first time that, because we've been mates for a while now and like in different times and, you know, but when we first started hanging out together, the three of us, and I like got a very quick temperature gauge of where the level of dress sense was at with the two of you guys. I came back the next time. I was like, I put some thought into that. And it's been a while since I'm usually just like in the shower, I'm thinking about, I'll wear that and I'll wear that. And then I get out of the house. But I have my shit laid out on my, I haven't told you guys this. I'm talking.
Okay, see, that's fucked.
I'm talking pants laid out.
I don't even
shirt laid out, socks lined up. I'm talking.
What do you start with? Like, what item of clothing do you go, I'm going to build from here?
I think pants.
Pants.
Yeah, pants, and then I go up. Yeah, for sure. But I was not stressed about it, but I was like, I better step up my game. And it felt nice to kind of like, you know, it almost feels like we're like a group of like dandies or something like that, you know, like just going and, you know.
Yes.
It's funny because in my head, I've always thought it's dancers that can wear anything. Because they can carry it. They can move, like, the way it looks, they can move the way they want it to.
I've always felt like, you know, before you said you had fashion but no style, I felt like I had my own sense of style but no fashion sense.
Right.
I would just wear whatever the fuck I wanted. Like nothing was off the table.
Right.
Like if you had a scene when I was on So You Think You Can Dance back in the day, like I just used to wear the wildest shit that made no sense. It was like a tie-dye singlet that was like cut. For some reason, there was like cleavage down to my belly button and like spaghetti straps. I had pink fingernails with a sequin gold jacket over the top with like harem pants down to the floor and like stripy socks. And that was like just going to get milk.
What year did you come out? Were your parents cool with it?
1989.
Were your parents cool with it?
Yeah, they're cool. Greek and Spanish, they're cultural. But I just felt liberated,
Yeah.
That to me was my form of expression.
Stephen's straight, by the way.
Yeah. So straight.
You don't have to get on the mic to talk.
Oh, no, sorry. I can't, it's like a real bad habit I've developed.
Yeah. It picks up. Good.
Yeah, stay right back.
Not that far back.
But there's several style icons that's just like throw together, right? Like Will.i.am, Andre 3000. Like it's kind of just like.
You saw Andre 3000 with the piano on his back?
What the hell?
That was wild.
Grand piano.
Do you know what that is a metaphor?
What's that?
He's carrying music on his back.
What's up, lad?
The
Is that what it
industry.
said? Or you just, that's why you
I
took
think I
from it?
read it.
Okay.
I read it somewhere and I thought, oh, okay, that's interesting. But bro, you haven't released anything in ages.
He put out some album that he's like playing the flute on, and they're like 16 minutes.
Actually, this piano, I think he's bringing out a piano album or something titled with the word piano in it. I don't know, but it's the Met Gala. You need to be outlandish.
Yeah,
Would you love to go to something like that at some point in your life?
Can I be honest with you? Like, as much as I love fashion, I like dressing up, blah blah. That stuff to me is just not me.
Like, are you going to Fashion Week? Like, is that you're like not at all?
Nah.
Yeah.
Fashion Week. What's that here in Australia? Sorry, I'm going to be a bitch right now.
That's where Ed Hardy and all that comes out at. Yeah.
No, I can't think of anything worse than being around those people.
Yeah, I see like photos from that, and I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, influencers.
Yeah, how do you find your people within the fashion world? Because you're friends with a lot of like the retail peeps.
And for me, it's about the conversations outside of fashion.
Yep.
If I can't talk to somebody just about fashion, that just fucking will bore the shit out of me. You know what I mean? Like, I like it to kind of start somewhere and then evolve into other things in life. So for me, the people that I kind of invite into my circle, they can talk about other things other than just fashion. But when we do talk about fashion, boom, we can go nuance.
100%.
But they also understand that there's more to life than just that.
Yeah. And that's why, like, I mean, conversations with you guys, it flows in that way, because it's like we can just jump from here to there to here to there to here.
This is what we're doing right now.
Yeah, literally.
You know, we're like an hour, 12 minutes in.
Already.
This is good.
Let's go.
Natural,
Bro, I'm just
so
getting
natural.
started with you guys. And we've talked about so many things.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And still there's things that I want to talk about. But yeah, back to style.
Yeah.
Do you ever, and I would imagine most people out there go through this all the time. Have you ever done this? Gotten dressed, walked out the door, got into your car, about to leave, and went, fuck, this hat's wrong. Or these are the wrong shoes.
Wrong undies.
And gone back upstairs and changed.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Cool, man.
That sounded loaded.
You know what? People are going to watch
cool.
this, and some people are just going to go, what the fuck? But the people who do give a fuck, you're my people.
Really give a
You're my
fuck.
people.
We'll really give a fuck. Yeah, for sure. I feel like you've done that. I feel like I feel like you've made like multiple trips.
Every now, like now, you know what's funny? The first outfit I put together is always the outfit.
Really?
Yeah.
But then you circle around and
I
come
would
back.
like fucking chop and change, go, oh, what about that? No, but it always circles back to the original.
Yep. Like how many? Like, what's your record? Do you reckon of like outfit changes?
Oh, God. It's too embarrassing to talk about.
Spit it.
I don't know, probably maybe three
Yeah. Right.
different full outfit changes to go, yeah, I like this one better.
But what's your process?
A lot of that is when I'm doing gigs.
Right.
Not just every day going out. Most of the time, like, I will have situations where I want to be comfortable and I'll dress appropriately. And for me, it's this. If you've got only cool shit to choose from, whatever you put together is going to look cool.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
If you got some whack shit in there, there's a chance. There's some whack. It's going to come out.
I've got some whack for sure.
Yeah, that's right. So it's like,
Yeah, that's right.
just populate your wardrobes with cool shit, and then whatever you piece together is a mix and match of all of that.
I want you to take me shopping
Yeah.
to like
Yes.
mid tier though.
Yes.
I'm talking like 2 steps above Cotton On.
Actually, who was I? I was talking to somebody about the concept of quality and paying for things that you would have maybe 5 years ago gone, oh, I'm never spending that kind of money on this item or whatever. But as you get older, you appreciate things from a different perspective. And that price point.
You're a huge proponent of like quality over quantity, or quality and quantity, actually.
So, yeah, look, I'm also an idiot with some things that I buy and go, what the fuck did I buy this for? But in general, I will mitigate my spending depending on whether the quality is of the standard that I love.
Yep.
The price isn't too fucking crazy, in comparison to the quality. The fit. It's all about the fit.
Right.
If it fits, if I put it on and I go, fuck.
Straight away, you know.
I literally don't care how much it is.
Really?
Well,
Yeah, you love the.
It'll be an afterthought. I will probably regret it after I've bought it, or I might go, okay, I have this thing of allowing things to haunt me.
Go on.
Right. So if I find something and I love it, and for whatever reason I feel like it's way too expensive or I'm not ready for that, blah, 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 I'll allow it to haunt me. If I'm thinking about that in my waking hours of my day and my sleep for days after, I have to go back and get it.
It will be purchased.
Yes.
And yeah.
Yeah. I let it haunt me.
Yeah.
If it doesn't haunt me, if I've forgotten about it, like the moment I've walked out, I wasn't meant to get it.
And are you a person that like, do you like, like these people that piss me off, these people that go, I want to buy a new camera and I'm going to do my, camera's a bad example.
No. Use camera as an example.
Yeah. And I'm going to, they only piss me off because I wish I was more like them. And I'm going to study this one. I'm going to go to this place. And I'm going to study that. And I'm going to Google it. And I'm going to look at all the reviews. And I'm going to spend three to 6 weeks of studying. And I'll go to this one. I'll check that one. The dimensions of this one. And then, I'll come back another day. And then like 6 months down the line, they've got a camera. Like that, I don't understand that. If I want a camera, I'm going to go out and buy a camera.
Yeah.
And it would probably be dog shit, but yeah.
I, to a certain degree, am that guy, but I don't take that long.
Right.
Yeah. I expedite the process of research. I'm a research junkie. I will go deep. And quite often when I've set my targets on something, I'll end up knowing more about it than the person selling it to me.
Right.
And the thing is, I hate, there's a very famous saying, the poor man pays twice. Okay? So you can go in there with little knowledge of what you're purchasing, buy it, bring it, get it home, and go, fuck, I got the wrong thing.
Yeah, I fucked it, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and you got to use
If I spent $100 more or whatever, that camera would have been so much better.
Yeah.
More megapixel, more fucking features, blah, blah, blah.
So and then you end up not using it, and then, yeah.
That's right. When it comes to tech, I think it's super important, and clothes.
But yeah,
I mean, tech more so to do the research, to make sure it's the right thing for you and what you want to use it for. When it comes to clothes, it's different. It's a feeling.
It's a feeling thing.
It is.
Yeah.
It's got to feel good, look good. You're like, damn, I got to have this. I got to wear it. It's just to be on my body.
Your voice does sound so good through this, man.
Is it?
Oh, it's
ridiculous.
Oh, bro.
You know what? I'm going to change
it's so sexy. Nah.
I don't have my headphones here, but yeah, it's not as cool in these in-ears. They don't have the same bass responses that does.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Anyway, so yeah.
We should have a counter of that down here. When Dre forgets the forgetful counter.
You know what it is? There's a concept of the pause and how important a pause is in conversation.
Sure.
There's a book down there also that
Can I borrow it?
I love. It's called Talk Like Ted by Carmine Gallo. It's down there.
Yep.
Anyway, that book is about taking all of the best TED Talks and the famous ones and dissecting them.
Right.
Into aspects of why they were the biggest, most popular TED Talks. And in that book, he references pausing. And how important it is
For sure.
to pause. Because when you pause, you lean in to the listener.
There's so much.
Actually, to the speaker, right?
I struggle with that massively.
Bro, because you teach, and because you teach as well too, that book, it will just blow your mind.
Okay.
The certain nuances of body language, conversation, how you present yourself, just in general, like it's amazing.
Do you guys struggle with that? Do you struggle with like
With what?
pausing in conversation, obviously understanding the power of that. Like I myself always feel like I'm having to fill silence. Like I'm always just going.
I mean, the pause is great because it allows you to think about what you want to say next.
Right.
You know who's a great pauser? He's probably the king of pausing. Elon Musk.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
That guy, he pauses, but you wait because you know he's about to
about to say something profound
or say something fucking stupid.
But do you struggle? Do you guys struggle with that? Or do you feel comfortable in like sitting in that? Like, because you've done stand-up comedy as well. Like that's there's so much power in pausing in that environment. And I think I would just get up there and just be like,
I reckon you'd be great at comedy. That's the first thing I said to you when you came down to one of my shows. Bro, you would be hilarious. You've done those comedy skits. Remember, was that during COVID you did that? Or
yeah, at my fattest.
are you going to? Okay, here's the thing, right? I feel like, just from my experience, that looking cool and being cool is not good for comedy.
Right.
You've got to be awkward as fuck.
Does that make you want to like go back into it and change your swag?
No. It's
cool, extreme. Hey, how's it going, folks?
Same outfit, just puts on glasses.
yeah. Well, like Superman. It really helps.
Right.
Being awkward, being
Interesting.
Just fucking.
And why do you think that is?
I think people like to see people up there making fun of themselves when
Self-deprecating.
Yeah, definitely.
And it was hard for you to be self-deprecating when you're going up fly as hell.
That's it. It's like if I'm, and the thing is I'm being genuine. Like when I talked about my dating experiences, they're genuine
real
things
stories
that are happening.
Yeah.
Like, but you're sitting as an audience member going, shut the fuck up, you wanker. Do you know what I mean? Like,
did you get that energy? Is that the vibe you got?
Yeah, I got that wanker energy. Like I'm a wanker energy kind of vibe. So it was interesting. You have to break that stereotype or mold, or just shape the comedy into something where you're maybe not being so self-deprecating.
Because do you think that's something you have to earn? Is that? Do you think like I don't know?
I just found the ones who were the most awkward, or the ones who weren't great to look at, they seem to get like. It could have been my comedy.
No, but you'd only just started, really.
Look, I like to think that it's funny, in different rooms, it just hit different.
But that's the thing about, I mean, all art forms, though, really, right?
That's right. You've got to be amongst the right people.
Yeah.
Like
let's look at it objectively. Is there an outlier to what you just said? Is there a cool, well-dressed, cool guy?
Eddie Murphy.
You got Matt Rife, you got Chris D'Elia,
Chris D'Elia looks awkward.
Okay, so
he's attractive, but he's got a strange look. He looks like an eagle. Like
it's. I don't know if you call it attractive. I wouldn't, but yeah,
people find him attractive.
But there are outliers. There are
outliers, of course.
But they're few and far between. I feel like.
Yeah.
Interesting. And how do
they've learned to work with it? Like Matt Rife, his ability to think so quick on his feet. You almost forget how he looks, and you're just laughing at the fucking joke. And maybe that's something I could have improved on.
And Matt Rife, I feel like leans into that too.
Yeah. He does.
Like he'll be like, it's really painful being good looking. Like he'll like we're minorities too. Beautiful straight white men. Like he'll do whole bits kind of. But I was listening to someone talk about this the other day. Actually, it's funny you bring it up. But I think he really just and he would his tour posters would be him shirtless, holding a puppy and shit. Like just really it's kind of part of his
his shtick.
But whatever the persona is, it takes a lot to shed, bro. Like as in those guys shed, man. The hours,
10,000 hours.
The hours they've put in it.
I did 3
and
months.
when they're doing their testing, like period. Yeah. And they're out in
no name clubs, and they're doing like 6, 7, 8 sets a night, especially those New York comedians.
New material.
Yeah,
they'll get up there with their little pad that they've written their jokes in,
and they're bombing like crazy.
Bro. You know what's funny? It's when you're bombing, it's how you recover from the bomb.
Yeah.
Is how the audience will react to you. Yeah. If you crumble, they want to see that. They want to see you.
They want to see blood.
Alive.
They want to see blood.
Yeah, because for the most part, when you're doing open mics, for example, you're actually playing to other comedians,
and they don't want to like you.
No, they're not going to laugh at you because they're too focused on what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're not even listening to you.
They've either gone up, not had a great set and don't want you to do well, or they're about to go up and they're shitting their pants. It's like the worst audience for comedy ever.
That's it.
Either way.
And what I found amongst them was that they love watching you bomb.
they're just sitting there like
Exactly.
big shit-eating grin on their face. Hey?
But what happens is it kind of causes stress because you realize, fuck, this crowd's hard work. You know what I mean? They're not going to be easy. And usually if one's bombing, another bombs.
It's a chain reaction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, the people who, how they reacted to their own bomb, how the audience accepted them.
Right.
It was a massive learning experience.
Well, because some people just get aggressive, don't they?
Well, they get embarrassed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
that turns into like
some people turn on the audience.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can't because, you know what I mean? Like,
totally. I remember
you put yourself in this situation.
Well, you were the one we went to that one together, right? To watch Trey. And I just remember I was sitting like right in the front audience and there was a guy sitting next to me and comedian after comedian after comedian, they'd start bombing and then they'd turn to this same guy every time for some reason, like, so what do you do for work? Like they'd go straight into the same crowd work kind of thing to kind of try and save them. It just got like funnier every time someone did it. It was like to try and save them, but we're all just laughing at the fact that they've asked the same question to the same guy. Did you ever like bomb?
Bro, all the time.
No, but like bomb.
Yeah, there were a couple of bombs, but it was hard because I would go on nights where there wouldn't be many general public. It was just other comedians testing out their shit. Like that's what you do. You just go to every open mic night, cut your teeth by just telling your jokes. You want to hear how it sounds. You want to forge it. Like a lot of the jokes you hear from the best comedians in the world, it starts here and then ends up there. It's been worked. Yeah. They've gone and workshopped it, changed it, finessed it to get it to a point.
And every single detail of it is thought out down to like.
Yeah, that's 100%.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes they'll change it on the spot depending on the crowd they're playing to.
Yeah.
And yeah, comedy is crazy, man. It's such a interesting world. The people in it are really interesting. I didn't resonate with the crew that I was.
Like the community.
Yeah. I found them a struggle to be around.
It's a pretty dark.
But then I found others who I absolutely loved. And they were more the pros.
Right.
Yeah. It's different coming in, being older as well too. You know what I mean? Like
right.
A lot of the younger comedians, they all share a very similar life. And so
totally.
Talk about it, make fun of it, blah, blah. But when you're the outlier and you're like, well, I don't relate.
Yeah, you feel like you're trying to force yourself into the scenario.
You got to play it down, you know what I mean? So,
right. Did you find yourself like dressing down and like.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that's never a place you want to be in, hey?
And then I just started to not like it as much.
Yeah. Is that something you want to dive back into again?
I reckon I will. I think this is a great medium for me to test out my material.
Yeah, 100%.
Because it's my fucking show. That's right. It's Andre Unchained, not Andre Boxed In.
When you go back, I'll come back with you.
Yeah, I'll have look, if this does well, I'm going to have to like really pick up my game. I've actually got a couple of guys who I've gone to talk about and forge my jokes.
Nice.
That's what they do.
Yeah, they have like ghostwriters and stuff, right?
Yeah, well, they share jokes. Like you might write a joke that isn't really suited to you, but it might be suited to this guy, and you'll give it to him.
And they kind of help each other, right? They tag each other's jokes. They're always kind of like.
I had a guy. His name's Ian. Shout out to Ian. He would help me with my material. And there's another guy, Marty.
Yeah,
he gave me great advice as well too, Marty Bright.
And what would they do? They just like, when you said this thing, maybe you say this thing after it.
You could sit on that a little bit longer. Yeah. And, you know, your cadence could be better here and there. You gave me some great advice after some of my shows as well that I took on board. I can't remember. But
Josh.
But you gave me some great advice that I took on board because I feel like when I first started, I was rushing everything.
Yeah.
And I remember that's what you said.
Yeah.
Allow the time for the audience to absorb your joke and register it before you start firing another one.
Yeah.
Unless it's part of your routine.
Right.
Where you want to add, like, I feel like if you're going to fire off straight after a joke, it's still pertaining to that joke. It's not a new joke.
Totally. Yeah, if it's like adding to the size of the joke that you're currently in.
Yeah.
There's like a tag and a tag and a tag. Yeah. But
that's
if you're
what they call it.
A tag, right?
Yeah, they call it.
But if you're jumping to a new topic, right, it's got.
That's like fucking. Why did you do that?
But that's what I would find the most terrifying about it, and then that's the psychology of comedy. I think is just being comfortable with just being in a room of people staring at you, and the expectation.
But that's what you do for a living.
I know. It's true. It's true. But it still feels different though. Like the
everything new is different.
Yeah, true.
You know, like you just jumped up a fucking building
that's
on
true.
a swing.
That's true. That's true.
Do you know what I mean?
But I just feel like when the expectation is to be funny, that's terrifying.
Make us laugh.
You know what?
Yeah.
That expectation is only you.
Right.
That crowd, they're just there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like they're going to laugh or they're not going to laugh. It doesn't really matter. Like you got to use that experience to shape your skill set.
Yeah.
Because there will be a time where you'll be in front of the right audience who will fucking just die from every joke. But I love every joke you say.
And that's the resilience of a comedian. I think that's super admirable as well. Because so much of what they do to like start their career is just eating plates of shit.
Yeah.
Just chowing it down, just like
buffet.
literally the shit smorgasbord, you know, like, and it's like that takes so much resilience. And you know,
can I tell you what helps with your comedy is being depressed?
Yes,
I just like having a really shitty life. That really because it like breeds so many funny things to talk about.
I just watched a comedy special actually 2 days ago called The Great Depression. His name's Gary Goldman. Okay. And it's a great title, hey. The Great Depression.
Yes,
and it's about his depression. And it's just like Judd Apatow produced it, like it was on HBO.
Oh, Judd Apatow.
They're the best.
He's the best.
But I highly advise it actually.
Okay. Check it out.
And he was like chronically depressed, went to a psych ward, had ECT, electroconvulsive therapy on his brain, like what they did in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, like debilitating depression and anxiety. And he's since come out of it. And it was a whole comedy special kind of based around that. It made me cry. It was beautiful. Like, and it's not even like particularly sad or anything, but it's just like the hope that it kind of offers. But it's also hilarious as well.
I think if you can attach comedy to that, it just softens the blow of how confronting.
Absolutely. Yeah. England's calling it the Great Depression.
Great Depression. I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Highly recommend.
What are your thoughts on comedians from different countries? And which country do you prefer the comedians from? Like you got British comedians, you got American comedians. They're all very different. I find personally, because obviously we're from Australia, our wit is pretty dry.
Yeah.
I resonate more with British comedians, the dark British comedians.
Really?
Not the mainstream British.
Like who are we talking?
Oh my God. Ricky Gervais.
Love.
Like
any of that Golden Globe shit as well.
Bruh.
When he infiltrates the like American world too, like it's just brilliant.
It's amazing. And like Americans are so conservative. Like they're just, when it comes to their comedy, they're just so censored.
And they're so serious. Everything's got such weight.
When I was in LA, man, I struggled to find people that got my humor.
Really?
They didn't take offense to it. So yeah, it was really tough.
So you prefer British comedians?
The dark British comedians and the dark American comedians, because there are like Tony Hinchcliffe, for example.
Oh yeah, man.
Like,
you watch Kill Tony, obviously.
Yeah, I love Kill Tony.
What about you? What about you, Tommy?
I don't split it up like by nation, but by genre, if anything, or just straight down to the individual. That's the individual's flavor. There's a Philo one, who I always think every time I watch him, he's gay. Vice Ganda.
What's his name?
Vice Ganda.
Vice Ganda.
Yeah, he's like the top Philo kind of celebrity, comedian, actor, everything. I'm like, if he spoke his wit and his speed, like if his timing, if he spoke English, he would be like up there with like.
Oh, so it's all in Tagalog.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Well, mostly. He also speaks English, but obviously the material is something. And like, within Philo humor parameters also, you know what I mean?
He's very much like that Joe Coy kind of brand of like.
Yeah-ish.
But Joe Coy
more Philo, he's more American, more Philo, like within those Philo parameters, like daytime TV. But I'm like, I can watch hours and hours and hours and hours of him. And I'm like, if this was in English and within an English format, like parameters, like
he would like
destroy, obliterate.
Because this is Philos all around the world too as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you like just the Philo community alone though, it's probably enough to support him there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's already million,
Yeah.
Followers are like 30 million already.
Jesus.
It's ridiculous, yeah.
It's funny when you think about, you can be, a huge artist in your country and never really have to appeal to the world market.
Totally.
And still have a very healthy career.
Yeah.
Well, that's like Robbie Williams was never able to break the
right.
US.
Yeah.
Even like his new movie came out and the US just did not give a shit about it.
It's like John Farnham here. And
Yeah, right.
fucking Jimmy Barnes here. You know,
True,
never
yeah.
really broke
Just
the
their
US.
their own ecosystem,
But they're just
their own
gods here.
Yeah.
legends for decades.
Yeah.
They never
Who are some artists like that? Like American artists like that?
The
American that don't break it out here.
Yeah. Because I feel like America's kind of like mirrored to the rest of the world though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a tough one because we're so conditioned
To like-
by America and
Whatever they like, we like.
the Brits as well too.
Yeah.
It's like when you, I talked about this with dear Tommy, how when you were brought up on the music from America, from the UK, you take on those
Mannerisms.
mannerisms, you take on the accent.
I mean, that's the thing too, right? Is that a conscious thing that Australian singers do, like singing in that American accent, or it's just something that just...
It's just conscious around the world, bro.
Yeah.
Like British people do it, Spanish people, everybody sing it.
It's like
because-
it's a default accent, isn't it?
Look, yeah, and a lot of people who don't speak English, they learn English
In an American accent.
through American artists.
Right.
So for them, it's just normal. It's innate. It's not really. They're not really thinking about it. It's just how they. Which is why, like that body of music that I put out was in my Australian accent, my speaking accent. It was very confronting because it's the first time ever in my whole career that I dropped the American.
And you just went straight with how Dre sounds.
Yeah, because it's like the message in that music couldn't have been said any other way.
Right.
If I did an American accent, you'd just go,
Completely inauthentic.
yeah, I'm talking about social issues and things like that. So it was, yeah.
It's like when you first heard the Hilltop Hoods go down the hard road.
Roared.
It's like,
Yeah, look,
Word.
it's honestly, it's for some people, it's harsh to listen to. But for others, it just feels more organic.
Yep.
You know, a little bit more real and authentic. But each their own, man. I don't give a fuck. It's like,
Yeah.
if that's how you sing, that's how you sing.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
This is kind of that's the natural. I just thought it was interesting. It's a natural,
Yeah.
natural default.
I'm more about the story.
Yeah.
You're telling me a great story. I don't care how you tell it to me.
Yep.
All I care about is the story.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
great songwriters.
Who are your favorite songwriters? I don't think I've ever asked you this.
Oh man, I think that would be like more of a genre by genre case.
Right.
Dylan. Dylan.
Wait, who's Dylon?
You didn't get that. It's a Dave Chappelle reference.
Yeah, that would be
When he's-
like a genre
I
by
was like,
genre.
we delivered it.
Because in different genres, there's just incredible songwriters, incredible rappers, incredible, yeah. I'll have to think about that one. I would love to be able to go, oh, this is a moment.
Yeah, yeah.
No, in this moment. And I'm happy to say, I'll get back to you on that one.
Who are your favorite? Who are your favorite? Like, who are your favorite musicians?
Oh, musicians.
That's a broad, straight question, isn't it?
Well, I mean, like for you as a drummer, you've got the greats whom you've probably admired.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's this concept of influenced or inspired.
Wow. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. I'll go with Dom first because we're talking about Dom. Who of the drummers in the world has influenced you and inspired you?
Both.
So influenced is more you want to be like. Okay? You want to be like them. You want to almost copy them. Okay?
And you say you want to kind
As
of
a
emulate.
player?
You want to emulate them.
As a player,
As a player.
their achievements, or
As a player,
As
yeah.
a player.
Inspired
Yeah.
is more, okay, I love what you do. I'm going to take a little bit, but I'm going to make it my own. Or
So-
I'm just going to go, I love what you do. I really appreciate it. You just inspired me to want to, work on my shit. That's the difference between
Yeah,
the
right.
two. So, and we all have somebody that we're influenced by and that we're inspired by. Of the drummers, who are you influenced by and who are you inspired by?
Two separate answers.
Yeah, two separate answers. And just pick one or two.
Chris Coleman is influenced.
Who's that?
Chris Coleman's like my Michael Jordan. He's like my MJ. So
Who does he play for?
Shaka Khan, Prince,
Right.
Stevie Wonder, everyone.
Chris
Like,
Coleman.
Yeah. He's like the drum god.
What nationality is he?
American. African American.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I think no one comes close to facility, variety, vocabulary, control, touch. His dynamic spectrum, his speed spectrum is just, he's the most complete to me.
What's his background?
Grew up in church, playing in church, and then studied
gospel drummer.
gospel first. But he became really academic.
Do a lot of like drummers come from that? You were saying that before, from that gospel scene.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
the finest of musicians.
Really?
do. Yeah, they really do, man. They really do. Especially in today's flavor. Today, this day and age, like what's happening in pop. All those pop artists, they just get musicians from church.
Really?
Yeah, all of those.
Even if they're not religious
Because
artists.
they're free.
Yeah.
They don't have to pay him.
That's a big thing within them.
Yeah, I can
within
imagine.
within their
I'm not
scene, like
just joking.
going from this church to that church, and why the
Well, they're doing
politics
it.
behind it and stuff.
And they're doing it. I mean, they're donating their time with those churches, right?
It's sort of like they have their own kind of like fees, like from service to service.
Really?
Yeah, there's a thing. It's a thing. Yeah, between
Is it like tidings? You pay tidings to the church.
Yeah, right.
probably comes
like
from
that.
that. That's probably the budget. But yeah,
So Chris Coleman,
yeah.
Is it influence or inspired?
In the
that's a hard.
influence, like as in
You want to be like
mostly, yeah.
you want
like
to
as in,
copy that guy. You
If
wanna
I want to get my
chops.
levels to that,
Right.
my skill level to that skill level, kind of thing. What's that? Influence?
Well,
Inspired?
okay, if you're wanting to get to that skill level, that's probably more inspired. It's my influenced is more if
Stylistically,
you love how he plays and you want to like play like that. You want to almost copy him. If anyone asks you, who do you play like? Oh, I'm Chris Coleman.
Yeah,
And then listen
it's
to
nice,
you and they
Chris.
go, oh yeah, I can hear Chris Coleman. As opposed to being you.
I'd want it to be.
Yeah. And being unique.
Yeah. When it comes down to flavor, there's so many different. There's this one outlier, Zach Hill,
Who's he play for?
white, 7 foot,
really.
super tall. No one really knows his face.
What?
Like for over the years, he's
Long
like
hair?
deep in like
Is he in Slipknot?
underground mathcore. Like, but we're talking just guitar virtuosity, drums messy, almost broken. They just play underground clubs.
Wait a minute. What did
in
you call
America.
that genre?
Like underground mathcore, almost. Yeah, mathcore.
M-A-T-H.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that kind
And
of like
this
real
guy's-
technical shit?
Yeah, almost hard to listen to. Like as in like
Like Mars Volta shit.
even
Like,
Yeah,
jazz
yeah.
on shrooms and speed.
Yeah.
Bad
and
Brains.
it's like it's almost like a lot of the videos for a long time were just bootlegs. You didn't know much about these guys. Do you guys know Death Groups? The band Death Groups?
No.
He's one half of Death Groups, which was one of the more mainstream projects. That's like a black rapper, but like growly, not like rappy. It's super different. He's one of the most experimental drummers I've come across. The genres he's involved with are experimental. The shit, his catalog is experimental. The way he sets up his drums is unplayable.
What do you mean? Like, it's just like
one can
weird
play.
configuration.
Well, he's like 7 foot, but like, all right, any music school will teach you your lap should be either parallel or downwards. Your
what?
lap, right, to the ground. So you're either super straight or you're
Slightly
up a
tilted.
bit on your thing. He's like that.
He's on the
And like the
decline.
angles of like you can't play, and the playing, you can't, it's like, what is that? Like you can get like the most accomplished jazz teacher transcriber and like, I don't know what he's playing. Like it's like that.
But he'll probably just replicate
Exactly.
that every time, right? And just
Yeah.
But is that mathcore in
yeah.
general, or is it
Like,
that just him?
their brand of it is kind of like pretty turned up in that direction. The other math cores you can transcribe it.
what does math?
Yeah.
What does mathcore mean?
It's probably like an offshoot of
Is
like
that like
core.
paint by numbers?
Because it's like, core, like everything became core, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
from hardcore to like
Deathcore, yeah.
deathcore, emo core, metalcore, all that stuff, and that's like one of the offshoots. It's like
Mathcore.
American Underground, yeah.
Wow, that's a genre. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
And even just the branding of how he did things. Again, like no social media for the longest time. He probably does now. And back then, it was just bootleg videos. Like you could barely see it. Some dude at the back of like an underground.
There's no
New
like,
York club.
there's no records. There's no like albums or that.
There are, but like the videos of him were just like those. And yeah, the way it hits you as a kid, Well, I wasn't even a kid. I was like a uni student. It's like, whoa, like,
Yeah.
this isn't polished. This is so hard to find. Again, it's pulling you in. It's like the silence. It's like the pause. It's like,
You probably for the first time saw something that was like away from the norm of everything that you'd heard before, and it was like you realized you could be a bit of a renegade with it, and like just fucking be as rough and ready as possible, but still be amazing, and like kind of felt like dangerous.
Yeah. And like growing up, punk always took shape in a different form. You know what I mean? In rap, there was a punk movement. In this era, there's a punk movement. This decade, there's a punk movement. Feels like at some point it was that. It's like, man, these guys don't want to polish themselves cleanly, have you in their face, have them in your face, like
like them be oversaturated, and
you seek them out, that kind of thing. Like what?
Because they fucking love it,
and you feel like you have them to yourself, versus someone who's everyone loves this person. Yeah, like nah, it's like, and then culture wise, it's like only the cool ones know these guys.
Right, yeah. I knew it before. Is that because like they're accountants by day?
Maybe, yeah.
We're going to call this mathcore.
I'll play you guys some later. You'd be like,
once it becomes more saturated, that market, it's going to turn into, tax return core.
I'm calling it mathcore, but they probably didn't.
Put him back on stage.
They probably didn't identify as mathcore. They came out of that scene and they're just like, no, we don't want any labels, whatever.
And that's probably someone else bestowed that label upon them.
Exactly, that. They're just so underground.
This is a question that I asked dear Tommy about the concepts of like these labels and subgenres of music and dance as well. And she calls her music Midwest. Right? Midwest country music, which in America, it's kind of a term-ish, but she's actually coined it. And I said to herself, somebody coined every subgenre at some stage.
Absolutely.
And then people just lent into it, and then more people called it that, and then it just became that.
Well, I think all subgenres are kind of created, not all, but a lot of subgenres are created by the people, right?
Yeah. 100%.
That's where it starts.
Okay, you call your dancing commercial.
Yeah, but it's under a very vague, big umbrella.
It's like, to me, anything but commercial.
Right. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So like, what would you call it?
This, for a while I called it, and this is a problematic title now, which, it was, my style's changed since then. It was urban contemporary for a while, because my style was a little bit more contemporary, but it also had a little bit of like a jazzy, hip-hoppy kind of edge to it. I don't know.
Would you kind of like, I see elements of like crunking in your style as well. Is it crumping or crunking?
Crumping.
Crumping.
Yeah.
I'm not hip with you, young kids.
Oh, you kids and your crunking.
I would have got away with it if it wasn't for your meddling kids. Okay, crumping. Okay. Fuck, I can't believe it. Crunking. Anyway, crumping. Okay, because there is that aggressive kind of movement in your style.
But if the crumping community heard me calling it crumping, I would be, yeah. They would not be good.
What will they do to you?
What the fuck did you say, boy? Yeah.
They'll be outside your house.
Yeah, literally.
Go, yo,
just hear my door getting knocked off.
We're so angry at you.
That was pretty good. Cut this whole part. Yeah, they'd be none too pleased if they saw this Greek guy spitting his head around. Yeah, they calling that crumping. They'd be like, what the So that's where it's difficult.
It's kind of graceful crumping.
It is. There's definitely
like a lot of beauty and
you talking about me now?
The movement. Yeah. Like your routines.
It can be, but I think at its core it's very neck orientated. Like, I honestly wouldn't know what to call it.
What do your students call it? Like, how do they explain it to their peers?
This sounds cocky, but it's true. Tannos.
They call it Tannos.
Yeah, we got Tannos class.
Bro, Fosse had his.
I kind of love it. Yeah, like, if you look at it's amazing. You look at the Brent Street. So when you walk into Brent Street's a big dance studio for those who don't know. And it's a place I trained at, but now teach at. You guys have all been there.
Yeah.
You walk in and there's a big timetable of the day on the wall, like on a TV screen. And you go and you see like, ballet with Talia at boom, contemporary with Jess at boom. And then it just says Tannos. That's all it says.
Yeah, they know what they're in for.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that, bro.
Yeah. And it's that was a really, they also know they know what they're in for, but they also know to also be on your toes because it kind of changes from day to day a little bit, but it always stays in the same pocket of aggression no matter what it is. But it could be, one day I could be feeling like a slow Billie Eilish moment, or another day I could be feeling like a Bruno Mars, Silk Sonic kind of pocket, or the next day I could be like something a bit more animalistic and primal, but they know it's always going to be in that.
So I have my windows open for fresh air to just flow in here. And on the odd occasion, you're going to hear dogs barking and that kind of shit. But I don't give a fuck.
It's real, baby.
It's real, baby.
That's it. I don't give a fuck because it's nice, isn't it? Having that air.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Also, too, when I close those windows, you see these
the
lights.
reflection.
It just looks shit. So I've gone for, I take trying to get that
The airflow.
out of the microphones as a challenge.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
perfect.
there's some really good audio restoration tools out there. So,
Wait, I want to hear your influence and inspire.
oh shit, I was hoping you'd forget.
Yeah. Because that's a really interesting. I've never heard it framed in that kind of way because they are very
Same.
different.
Well, that was dear Tommy.
Contextually, that's
She
different.
came up with it. We talked about it on our podcast, and I was like, "Fuck, wow." It was like a mic drop moment, and I actually physically, I didn't drop it, but I just faux dropped it.
You faux dropped,
Fropped it.
fropped,
Who am I inspired by?
or you can start with whatever. But.
Well, it kind of depends on what that inspiration is like instigating. Like, if it's
Like work ethic or
music, or is it fashion, or is it just daily life? You know.
But let's just say
I break it down into
Yeah.
those parts. That's how my brain compartmentalizes these things. I can't just go, there's this one person, they embody everything.
Yeah, right.
No.
But then who feels the most relevant to you currently? Then I guess.
All right. I know this is going to sound kind of, no,
No, go with it.
this is true. I'm inspired by my daughter.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man. She kills me.
Yeah.
I watch that kid just blossom and just go, fuck. Like, if you know what she's been through to where she is and where she's going,
Yeah.
I just go, wow, I did something right in this world.
That's hectic.
Yeah,
That must feel so amazing.
it does. I never knew what that feeling would be, but yeah, she's number one, man.
And so in what ways does she inspire you?
Just how she's come from adversity, her resilience, her ability to put aside noise, and I'm talking loud noise
Yep.
that's happening over here, right, in her world, and just go, bam,
And then and zone in.
and zone in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that also I feel like says a lot about you as a father too, though.
Yeah. I mean, she's her own person, man. Like, yeah, she really is.
That's a cool answer.
I mean, it's
beautiful.
it's true. It's just true.
Yeah.
Like, I think about her, and I just think about, man, I just want to be better for her. You know what I mean? Like, there's no one else that I really want to be better for.
Yep.
Maybe my mom,
Yep.
but yeah, for her, really. I just kind of want to level up so that she's got,
A North Star.
yeah,
Yeah.
she's got like a really good barometer for what a emotionally intelligent human is,
Yep.
and never wanting to go down from there.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So
It's all about that emotional
she
intelligence.
schools me, man.
Did you really?
Oh my God, yeah.
Because she's mid-20s, right?
25.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, she's cool. She takes me to school. She tells me things that I'm doing that are not cool, and I take it on board.
Damn, does that hurt? Does that hurt?
It did when I was a younger father,
Right.
But now that I'm older, it's like, oh, okay, yep, cool. I'll take, because it's like, if I don't change, then I'm gonna distance myself further from her,
Right.
and she means the world to me.
Yeah.
So it's like, why would I want to do that? Like,
And you kind of have your ego involved in stuff like that, right?
yeah. I feel like as I've gotten older, I've learned to manage my ego so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is that through having
not as driven by it.
a kid as well? Would you say?
That helped.
Yeah.
But it's also through like failed relationships and just fucking heartache, heartbreak, all that kind of shit, struggle. You learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, you learn to realize that some things are like born from ego. They're like driven by your ego.
Desire to control, desire to.
It affects your ego, and that's how you react.
Yep. I try and catch myself at that all the time, but it's easier said than done.
Ego is a topic, hell of a topic.
Oh,
It's
man.
like a whole other podcast.
Yeah.
Also, too, like for what we do, we have to have
Yep.
an element of ego.
Some sort of
We have to have an ego, but not an ego problem.
Yep.
There's a difference for me. There's a difference. And I think if we're able to manage it, we can turn it into confidence
Totally.
that isn't kind of marred by the ugliness of ego, having an ego problem.
Yep. But if we don't manage it if we let it get too far away from us, then then we get removed from reality. I
You just
feel.
become a toxic fucking human being. You know what I mean? And then that just exudes into everybody else around you.
Yep.
And that's what you don't want.
100%. What about influence? Sorry, I didn't want to let you get off with that one.
Influence is like, who do I want to be like? Like,
And you can't say Dom, right?
who do I kind of like? Oh, man. I don't have an answer for that. I really don't. There's certain people that I love, certain aspects of their personality, what they've done with their careers, et cetera, et cetera. But then there's other parts of them that I'm just like,
Yeah.
no, I don't agree
You
with that.
wouldn't want the baggage of that, even just to have
that's
the...
it. Like if I could make a Frankenstein of a bunch of people, it
Right.
would be that person. But I'm okay with saying, I don't know.
Yep.
Not that I don't have one, but just I don't know.
It's not something that jumps out to you straight away.
Yeah. It's okay to not know.
Yeah.
Actually, one of my favorite sayings is, I know nothing. Yeah. Even at my age now, with all the life experience, I know nothing.
I've learned everything, but I know nothing. Yeah.
What about you?
Influence and inspiration. When I first started choreographing, there was a guy by the name of Wade Robson, who there's something that he's known for currently. He's on the Leaving Neverland documentary, actually,
Oh, wow.
which is,
Okay.
not the best way to be known for. And that's not his legacy to me. Yeah, right. Which is not his legacy. He was a choreographer that was born in Brisbane, Australia.
Oh, wait. I know who you're talking about.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
He's amazing.
And MJ basically moved him to the States when he was like 12 or something like that. And then he ended up And then he ended up like directing and choreographing Britney Spears' world tour when he was like 18 years old.
Yeah, wow.
Like directing and choreographing the whole show. Like,
crazy.
and then he like produced the NSYNC Celebrity album, like Dirty Pop, like all those songs, and did all the choreography for them. And he like went on So You Think You Can Dance America and like choreographed. He was getting people to dance like zombies and like animals and like crash test dummies. And like he kind of just like, I just fully spat on the microphone then. He kind of influenced me to realize that like choreography is limitless and boundless, and you don't just have to be playing this one specific kind of character where you're just this straight-laced kind of individual. Like you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
And he was very, very influential to me in regards to like starting choreography, because I never felt like I fit into a box.
Yeah.
And he said, what if the box didn't exist and you can dance with no boundaries? So he definitely influenced me for sure. And my style was a direct replication of his for the first 5 years of my choreographic escapades. I would literally just like look at one of his routines and like emulate it basically.
okay.
It wouldn't go anywhere really. I'd share it with friends. But if you're talking about influence, he literally like, my style was born from him for sure.
How old is he now? Where is he now?
So it's actually interesting. I ended up assisting him last year at a festival here in Australia.
Wow.
And he's actually coming back in 4 weeks. So I'll get to see him again for the same festival.
Wow.
And I've actually been doing some one-on-one kind of work with him online, just with like he does a lot of meditation and practice around kind of self-improvement.
Is he still choreographing?
No, he kind of stepped away after all that.
What does he do now?
A lot of the meditation stuff, like he's very, very deep into that world and like the self-actualization and all that kind of stuff. He teaches still, like he teaches at conventions but he does a lot of like one-on-one mentoring, yoga, meditation. Wouldn't call it mindfulness, but in that kind of vein. But he stepped away from that whole world because he just couldn't exist in that space anymore. It gets painful after a long time, I think, as well.
Actually, before I talk about something with regards to that, I want to know who you're influenced by or inspired by. Sorry.
Inspired by? There's probably like two people now. I'd just say quick choreographically, like Paris Gobel is incredible.
Not Paris Hilton.
Not Paris Hilton. I'm inspired. Paris Gobel is like, you know Paris Gobel?
No, the name.
Yeah, like Request Crew, Royal Dance Fam from New Zealand.
Okay. I know the Jabberwockies.
Jabberwockies are a thing from Vegas, I think. Hit that again? Hit the Jabberwocky.
I don't know why.
Do you need a white mask or something?
Yeah. But just, I look at her like work ethic.
Right.
I can find myself like hating myself for my lack of work ethic. I can get really down on myself. I don't know if you guys can, I think one of you said something similar about that before. You did. About I should be doing this, I should be doing that. Like I find myself getting in these spirals of procrastinating and she just is someone who just seems to just fucking go out there and do it.
Get it done.
Yep. And that's very inspiring.
Can I shout something out about Chris Coleman real quick as a person, not as a drummer? Because I feel like last time when we used to do the jams, and you guys asked me the same question, I said Coleman again. I mentioned the same thing, but I didn't get to mention this. We're both with Sonar Drums.
Right.
So we know each other.
Okay.
We hosted him when he had a clinic in Sydney a few years ago. And after we took him out to dinner, you know, hang out with all the drummers, the tight circle, went to Chat Thai. And after dinner, we're like, what do you want to see in Sydney? Take you to Sydney.
You've met him and hung with him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And I have like a one email thing a yearly with him. Like, I don't want to bug him too much. But like, what do you want to see? The Harbour Bridge, the Opera House and stuff like that. He ordered more food for takeaway and he said, take me to some homeless people. I just want to give some food to them.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
he's a church guy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was not for show or anything.
No.
Yeah.
And I was like, because he could say, oh, I want to see the Opera House. I want to see this. Instead, it's just like, just want to give some food to like some homeless people.
That's crazy.
He's a dude, man. Yeah.
Wow.
And that's like,
Shut up. Just go on.
I see people like that and I see equality like that. And I think the older I get too, I'm like, I want that. Like that's the quality I look for. It sounds cliche, but that's the quality I look at in people now. And it sticks with me way more than anything else about your work or your this or like.
And it feels harder to find the genuine ones because everything's here.
Yeah.
Everything's filmed, everything's
for validation and for there is thousands of people that would buy food for a homeless person, but it's to make content or it's to you know what I mean? Like to let
the world know that they're
exactly.
They're doing it.
It's virtuous. Whereas that was just like for no one.
Yeah.
You know, like that's just that's different.
Mm. Can I tell you one thing that I love about you guys? I love that you guys share the same love and respect that I do for the women in our lives, which is kind of interesting because there are a lot of our male friends who, you know, probably don't have the same experiences that we do with some of the women in our lives, whether it be friends, partners, whatever. And I thought about it today. I was like, oh, what can we talk about? And I was like, you know what? Actually, that comes to mind when I think about you guys. We can talk about some of our female friends and our experiences with women.
Totally.
And talk about it in a non-jaded way.
Sure.
A very not Andrew Tate style way. Do you know what I mean?
I couldn't even pull that off if I tried.
Even when we have dating experiences that could quite easily push us.
Make us better.
Yeah, make us very bitter and shaded.
Yeah. Do we start with those?
How about that caterpillar night?
Oh my God.
Do we go there?
Jiu Jitsu.
Put up a photo of Kate Blanchett, please.
Jiu Jitsu.
Oh man, that's hectic. You know what? Why don't one of you tell the story?
We doing it?
Yeah, fuck it. I don't give a fuck.
All right. So the three of us have developed this kind of, we try to make it weekly, but we're kind of busy with our schedules, but weekly gentlemen's dinner. You know what I mean? We'd ball
Three
out.
single fellas.
Yeah, three single fellas, ball out, talk about life, talk about nothing, eat well out in the city somewhere. And then afterwards, we didn't plan it, but afterwards we're like, hey, should we go to Caterpillar Club? for a drink, just as a nightcap. I'm like, all right, let's go. Jump in Dre's car, head there. And, we know the band, say hi to them, have fun. We have our own table, the chair dancing, whatever.
And we come in looking pretty like...
We're the flyest in the room.
Yeah.
We're the flyest in the room.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. And then a tall, gorgeous, what's her nationality?
She's like
South African?
No, half Nigerian.
And
half British. Yeah.
You went with the British accent, right?
Yeah. She was a mixed race.
Beautiful brown girl.
Comes over to the table. I'll pass it on to you guys. Comes over to the table and says, what'd she say? Well, you guys are like the coolest. You guys seem to be the coolest, funnest guys here.
Yeah.
We seem to be the hottest girls here. I don't think you'd find any hotter.
It was like real confident.
We should, yeah. And real confident, real comforting, really funny, really charming. Mostly talking to Dre.
Yeah, she zoned in on you.
And she's like, I've got a couple of friends there. Should we all hang out together? And I'm like, who
There
are
was
we
three of them, three of us. We're like, yeah.
Yeah. Who are we to turn
We
down?
like those odds.
I like the math be mathin'.
And
Math core.
Math core.
And naturally you pair off.
Yeah.
Naturally you pair off.
And I quickly zoned in.
I had the...
Wait. That's a nice way of saying naturally get stuck with.
I did the math in my head. You were sitting like the further seat away. So I literally Tom Cruise ran to the table and parked myself right next to, I forget her name, Mia, I think it was. I shouldn't be saying names.
Let's not mention names.
Yep. Let's bleep that one. Thank you.
Someone else want to
I'm
take
not
over from
bleeping
me?
anything.
Yeah.
You just fucked it.
And how do we do this part delicately?
Actually, your conversation with the girl that you were talking to was pretty funny.
Gorgeous Australian Islander girl.
Wait, what?
Wholesome.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. She was really nice. What was funny about it?
Didn't you say that you asked her what she did?
Oh, true. How do I
Dude,
forget
what the
that?
hell?
Sorry, how did I forget that detail? You just making small talk.
Yeah.
She asked me what I do for a living. I told her, and then I go, "What do you do for a living?" She's like, "I dance too." Like, okay. And then me just being a dancer, being like, "Oh, so we might know the same people." She's like, "We probably don't." I was like, and then I'm immediately doing the math in my head, and I'm like, "Okay, cool." She's like, "Yeah, I work late at night." I'm like, "Cool. Copy. And then I come to find out she's
Oh, wait. When you're saying copy, you didn't actually copy?
No, I did.
By then.
Oh, you knew straight away?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And the way she was saying it, she was kind of like, her eyes were like,
Yeah, gotcha.
we don't know the same people. I work at night. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I've come to find out she's a stripper.
The lady of the night.
A lady. Yeah, I don't know, like a...
Oh, right. The lady of the night is like an escort.
An escort, yeah.
Okay.
I think, just a stripper. I like respect. And then there's a third.
Then I got paired up with probably good looking in a normal day. No. She was super intoxicated, the drunkest of the three.
No, she was like striking, like, attractive
They were
woman.
all very attractive.
They were. We called her Kate Blanchett because she looked like Kate Blanchett. Yeah. Canadian girl, but just had way too much to drink that night.
She was on one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was stuck with her.
And then we'll pass it to Dre.
Well, I was engrossed in my conversation with said Nigerian girl.
Yeah.
And, we seemed to get along really well. But the girl that you were talking to just progressively got really drunk.
Yeah. She was already at like an 8 out of 10. And then when we were sitting down, it like went to a 10 out of 10, like within about 20 minutes somehow.
To the point where the manager asked them to leave.
Yeah.
And it was that point, actually, you said something really interesting because she was almost like entertaining the notion of having a drink with anybody that offered her a free drink. But
Yes.
you already just bought
I got the whole table drinks.
whole table drinks,
Yeah.
sat down, and she's like walking off with some guy in a suit.
Yeah. And
Because
she's
he
like,
said-
I'm just doing it for free drinks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, as a nudge, I'm kind of like, what about these free drinks? Right?
You didn't nudge it. You yelled it out. It was, you yelled it out.
yeah.
I respected
it was
that.
Like, I was
like as a
fucking
nudge,
respect.
like to make her think about what she
Totally,
did.
totally. Just-
And you had just spent $150 on like 4 drinks as well.
Drinks.
Yeah.
But the red flags were early because she was like, so what are you guys up to tonight? And no, first I was like, colored girl, white girl, just like as an icebreaker. I'm like, oh, so you the token white girl of the group?
Dude,
And
that's
she was
not
like, oh my God, that's racist.
Racist.
And in my head, I'm like, if anything, that's sexist. But sure.
Yeah.
Oh, she was like, No, that's sexist. That's sexist. And in my head, if anything, that's racist.
Yeah.
And then later on.
Did you say sexist?
Yeah, she said
right.
sexist.
Okay.
And I'm like, shh, calm down. I tried to calm her down. Then we conversed. It was all good. And then she's like, so what were you guys doing tonight? I'm like, went out to gentleman's dinner. You know, we had Japanese barbecue. And she's like, I love Asian food. I love Korean barbecue. I'm like, oh, great. Have you had Japanese barbecue though? Because it's like graded, right? The meat's like graded from 1 to 7. And she's like, oh my God, that's racist. Then she pulls out the racist.
What?
Just pulling out cards left and right.
Exactly. It's like, and that's what turned me off. Like today's dating. That's my prime example, like epitome of like why I'm turned off with like Gen Z dating or today's dating scene. It's like they love those controversial cards. It's like
those hot
cancel-y, me too.
That's like women and men. Like
sure.
Yeah. It's
I think it's just the culture in general.
Yeah, the culture is just
it's very easy just to pull one of those cards out and label something very quickly as when that's clearly not your intentions.
Yeah. And when she thinks it's funny, it's like, no, those cards actually have a place. You know, you're supposed to use them and correct.
Yeah, they lose their validity if they're being pulled out left, right, and left and right.
Yeah,
and like look at this. Cultural demographic here. Do you think that there's going to be racial things coming out? Yeah, like
no, we're going to be the most tolerating of everything.
We kind of span all different parts of the globe.
United Colors of Benetton.
100.
And so your girl wanted to go for a venue change, and she already got kicked out. And so we're like,
want to? They were literally getting kicked out.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. They wanted to stay, but they were getting kicked out.
And we're like, all right, let's get him an Uber. Let's like,
and this girl
wait
could
till they get an Uber.
Walk at this point, basically.
Yeah. And then how did
let's be fair. She was legless.
Yeah,
but we were still being gentlemen. Like you're very accommodating. We actually left with them.
Yes, we left the venue with them.
We left the venue. We were going to stay.
Make sure they were in an Uber together?
Yeah, we want to make sure they get home safely.
Make sure they're in the car.
Sure.
And we didn't sleaze out and be like, we're following you home. Like it was none of that.
She invited me home and I was like, no, man, you smell like vodka.
Yeah.
Vomit and vodka. How did the jiu-jitsu thing happen?
Oh, my God.
Well, then she finds out that Dre does jiu-jitsu, right? Because that's...
No. She it just came out of nowhere. Like literally out of nowhere. I'm talking to her friend and then she just jumps on me.
Yeah. And we're like, you and I having a conversation. We're singing Creed.
Yeah.
We're like, and then there's the two other girls are sitting over there.
Yeah,
and then there's just the two.
bench.
It's just the most.
And
no one's acknowledging. I feel like I was half acknowledging the fact that
Bro, she was trying to put her hands down my pants.
Yeah.
Like hard. And I was trying really hard to stop her, but not get too violent.
Not hurt her.
Or not hurt her.
You were just trying to get her off you.
That's right. And like, I know maneuvers to subdue people.
You could break her arm if you wanted.
Well, I didn't want to get into those maneuvers because I knew if she...
You're looking on a perfect Ezekiel, grabbing your own sleeve. Yeah.
Anyway, and she just wouldn't let up.
No.
She wouldn't let up. Like, and I was trying to be respectful, but I ended up having to subdue her. And
well, not even. I wouldn't even say subdue. Like you just.
Well, just like
de-escalated. Yeah.
De-escalated and stop her from like trying to pull my shit off.
But remember, she started lying on the floor. She just kind of like draped on you and just like hung off you, and then she's like on the floor all of a sudden. We're like,
this is out on the street in front of the club.
Do you want to get up? Maybe like she was like, nah.
I know. And then she got up, and then she hated us.
Yes, all of a sudden turned on a dime. Hey, you're all fucking ugly. Like she wasn't so the energy was very that though.
Tell them what the girl said going into the toilet.
Short king.
As he's walking into the toilet,
king.
He overhears them saying,
and this is already, I've already got a complex about this and it's so annoying and I'm working through it. I actually have a new therapist tomorrow night. I mean, this probably will come up. I'm just, I hate being short. Anyway, whatever. Walk into the bathroom. I don't know if you were there. You were maybe out the front at this point. It was you and I.
Yeah.
It was definitely you and I. And we're not ridiculously short. You're a bit taller than me.
What height are you?
I don't even know.
I think you're like 5'9". 5'9", 5'10".
Maybe.
I'm like that.
Oh, you're quite a bit taller than me, aren't you?
A little bit.
I never thought so. See, from my perspective, I never thought so. I always think we're the same height. Whatever. Put us on the spot.
No, over here.
I've always thought we're the same height. Like,
yeah, you're definitely.
Go over here because that's where.
But I wouldn't consider you.
Come over here.
Wait, you might want to take the headphones off. And the cable's long enough.
Let's see.
All right.
Same vicinity, man.
No, you're taller.
Yeah, you're substantially taller.
Not substantially, but you're still.
I would say I'm 5'5", maybe.
Right.
Anyway, that's just bullshit complex I have that is meaningless and just, Anyway, I walk to the bathroom and your girl goes, fuck me, they're short, aren't they?
Was it really fuck me there, sure?
I don't know.
Oh, God, that's
maybe,
actually...
maybe I added fuck me.
Okay, yeah.
No, I added fuck me.
That's funny.
That I like to add details. She was like, God, they're all short, aren't they? It was definitely that. And I'm like
Jesus.
walking into the bathroom like,
They were tall though.
Yeah, to begin with.
the Nigerian girls are model.
And the
Yeah,
Canadian.
you know.
And the Canadian.
it felt
the
like
Canadian too,
it felt like they looked at us like we were tall because we had confidence, but then we got up from our seats and we were like, that's such a letdown. Literally that's us getting.
I find when they say short king, it's so patronizing.
Yeah. Whenever I would tell someone I'm
Short king.
I hate
Tell
my
people
height.
you're a short king?
No, I
I hate
hate
to tell people you're a short king.
I hate my
You want
height.
it to be
And they
labeled.
go, you're a shot king. Come on, get it, shot king. I'm like, ugh. I feel like you're just going to put me in your pocket and tickle my chin. Like,
yeah.
anyway, it's a ridiculous thing. But that was a fun night for sure.
Wow, what a crazy story, right?
Yeah.
I've got so many of those stories.
Go on.
No. We'll save it. We go.
Yeah.
Where did the love for women come from just then?
Oh, yeah.
Because you with your mum,
Yeah.
you, the way you speak about your parents, and also too, the women that are in our lives in professionally and as friends.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Like,
I've got some great women friends. Yeah.
yeah, that's right. And for me, like a lot of the books that I read on feminism is inspired by my friends.
Yep.
And I've got a daughter who, you know, I can't be chauvinistic, misogynistic.
Yeah, she's a strong,
She's
independent
strong.
woman as
my
well. Yeah.
God, yeah, she doesn't take shit.
I haven't met her, but it's just
Yeah, no,
the vibe I get.
She's definitely super strong. And just the thought came into my head. I'm going, I can have conversations with you guys about it because I've had conversations with certain friends in the past whom I've distanced myself from because
After the conversation.
I've just gone, wow, okay,
Yeah.
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 That tells me a lot about.
father of a daughter.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not acceptable.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love the women in my life, you know.
I know, and you speak very highly of them as do I, and as you do as well too. And it was one thing that I felt like that's something that maybe we haven't clocked, but that's a really cool connection that we have. For
sure,
when we do
yeah,
have our
right.
conversations, we will talk about our female friends in such a great light,
Totally.
and it's beautiful to hear because you know we're blessed,
You
to have them in our
I feel like we're
lives.
all close.
And it is Mother's Day today as well. Too.
Oh, it's true.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, yeah.
God damn.
I see.
And we're all
I see.
close to our mums, right?
Yeah, I've become closer to my mum since, she's taken a bit of a turn for the worse
Yep.
and definitely brought us closer together. Again, probably
Yeah.
another conversation at another time. I'm
Totally.
starving. Are you guys hungry?
Yeah, I'm getting there.
We've clocked 2 hours and 17 minutes.
Juicy.
Crazy, right?
Juicy.
I thought, when I put this together, I was battling with the whole concept of, do I just make it short form? And the other podcasts that I was a part of, they all felt like they were kind of like restricted to a,
You talking about this radio format that?
I don't know if it's radio format, but like a TV format.
Yep.
Yeah, and it was very restricted and governed by a time frame and a bracket, all that kind of crap. And I just thought with this one, man, I'll go till these SD cards run out.
100%.
100
know what I
gigs per camera.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I love it. I love that freedom because it's almost like there'll be some point in that 3 hours where something will be said. And you just go, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
But you needed to allow that to simmer.
And you're not going to edit these down, are you? You're
No
just,
way,
you're just
man.
going to let them run.
It's too much time. Like editing, just cutting camera angles alone is.
Can you use AI to do that? Though?
There is an AI tool in the new DaVinci Resolve, which was what I edit on, that can do it. But I actually really enjoy it because I get to run back the whole conversation.
Yeah.
And watch it again.
And you're just kind of sitting there going, boop, boop, like you just,
Literally switching.
oh, you do it, you switch live.
I switch
like
live.
when you edit.
Yeah. In DaVinci, that's how you edit. You can just switch live between the 3 camera angles. That's why I've restricted it to 3.
Yep.
And then, because that's part of the storytelling of the moment too. Cutting to the right people at those moments.
100%.
You know what I mean? Because you can kind of like steer the conversation into certain ways by, curating the
Focusing in on a certain individual at a certain time.
yeah. It's fun. It's actually fun. So I've grown to really enjoy that aspect of it. I thought I'd hate it because I used to edit before.
And it was like hella time consuming.
You know what? You know why I hated it? Because I was editing for other people, and it's hard to find people that share your vision.
Yeah.
And there's a saying in the editing world called you have to kill your darlings. So you might shoot some footage.
Kill your children, right?
You might absolutely love, but it just doesn't work. Or the client doesn't want it. Or the client wants it shorter. And I just fucking hated that. Anybody who edits, they will agree with me. It's a fucking punish.
Well, now you're just giving yourself the luxury of just keeping all of it.
Yeah. You say something stupid, that's on you.
We haven't said anything incriminating as of yet, have we?
Who knows? And who cares, really?
That's racist.
You're so racist.
Because you know what? No one might watch this. Do you know what I mean?
But then also everyone might watch this.
Maybe. I don't know. But I'm not doing it for any of that. I'm doing it purely to share these conversations, to have a little bit of a legacy that I can leave online for people to watch and learn and grow from and evolve from as well, if it means that this medium affords me the ability to bring people together, to put that out into the world. I'm happy with that, man.
100%.
No one fucking watches it or I make any cent from it. I'll still keep going.
And just like we get to just have a 3-hour conversation, you know. It's just like that's all this is. It's like, you know,
it's not unlike any of the conversations we have when we hang out.
This is literally like
we're just recording it.
Yeah.
We don't dress any different. We fucking dress still.
Maybe next one we'll get some Korean barbecue going or something.
So these are some of the we'll put it here.
Just all the bonsai around.
Sizzling loudly.
Can I tell you about this bonsai?
Please.
I got this bonsai today, right? And I never really delved into the bonsai world. I don't know what it was about the bonsais that I felt like, I really want to have a bonsai. I didn't realize just how much care they require.
They require a lot.
And the guy I bought it from, he was so passionate about bonsais. And the knowledge he imparted was just like ridiculous. I'll give you an example. So when you see a bonsai, when the trunk is like in some sort of weird formation, that's giving it flow.
Right.
If it's straight up and down, they don't even call it a bonsai. They call it more of a garden plant. Yeah, it's got to have
character.
Yeah, flow. There's got to be some weaving of the trunk and
like what's going on here.
Yeah, exactly. And so the trunk on this particular one, I can't remember the foliage. It's got names. It's 2 different types of foliage, but he said that the trunk is like this. So the belly has to face the people.
Right.
And it's a welcoming. Bonsais are a welcoming.
What culture is it from again?
Japanese.
Japan.
Right. So when somebody walks in, that tree is opening its arms. Whereas if I turned it the other way around, that tree is doing this.
Yeah, it's like it's asking you to leave.
It's getting more aggressive and like Fosse. See what I did there?
Great callback. That was anyway, good.
Yeah. So I'm just sitting there listening to him going, wow.
And he's just rattling off all this information to you.
Yeah. On top of how to care for it. This thing requires so much care.
What's the care? What's the care regime?
Okay, for example, like right now it's sitting here on this table as this beautiful, inspiring centerpiece, but it has to live out there. And it has to be in amongst the rain, in amongst the sunlight.
The elements.
For the most part. So I'll have to put it out there and just bring it in here. The thing is, it will have insects, part of the ecosystem of this. This is like a miniature, massive tree. You know what I mean? And the watering of it as well too. I have to buy this thing that I put in there and it tells me if it's moist or if it's wet.
All right.
It's moist. I can tell. You
know that's going to have a dual purpose.
You made such eye contact with me when you hit the word moist. I was like, woof. But you got one of those little prod thingies.
Y'all know that's coming with me in the bedroom.
Did you go out intending to buy bonsai? It was just like
I did.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because I've been researching them. I've been looking at them. And
we're coming back to that. So you've been researching for ages about bonsai?
Not ages. No, not ages. No, a couple of weeks.
Right.
Just Damo's childhood friend is Boutique Bonsai. A buddy of mine, Dave, is together. So he's he does like seminars and like this showrooms.
I would definitely want to have that guy on.
Yes.
I want to chat. I want to pick his brain because this is a whole other world.
Yeah.
You should have seen his collection of bonsais.
Yeah, like a little showroom.
Well, he sells them and he breeds them. I don't know. Is it called breeding?
Bonsai breeding.
Is it breeding?
Maybe.
Grows.
Yeah, he grows them.
I like breeding.
That's the seed, yeah. And he loves them and takes care of them almost like they're his children.
Yeah, right.
It's mental, the way he spoke about it. And
He's crying when he gave this teacher. Take care of
Roger, man. He's a good egg. He's really open. Look at Roger. His belly.
I just want him to branch out in the world,
Belly to the door. Belly to the door.
It's so hard to see you leave.
The rear window. He's just like on the ground.
Yeah, the plant's just like.
These guys aren't catching my jokes. But anyway.
I heard that.
McFly, why don't you make like a tree and get out of here? Anyway, the passion in which that he spoke about this bonsai, and then the elation when he saw my face when I saw it, because I saw it online and I said, I want it. And it literally sold in the gap before I wanted and told him.
Yeah.
So it was a different bonsai that I originally asked him for. Anyway, I just said, look, keep me in the loop of others that you're going to put up. And he sent me some photos and I was like, oh, I like this one. Like that. And then he said, I'm going to send you a picture of one that I haven't put up because I was going to keep it. That was this one. He loves the structure. He loves
And does it come with that pot as well? That's hectic. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's hectic.
That's hectic, lad.
You know what's even more crazy? How old these are.
Right.
Yeah.
How old is that?
I think this is like 10 or 12 years old. Everybody's bonsai buying. Yeah, so that was fucking great. People are going to hear that and such. That's like ASMR.
Intense, dude. Yeah, that's sexual ASMR.
No, you got to get right on the mic with ASMR. Oh, that sounds fucking disgusting. Oh my god, dude, that's like hardcore ASMR. Yeah.
People love it, eh?
Yeah, they do. It's calming for some people. Anyway, this
definitely not me doing it.
Yeah, he's a what was I talking about?
Bonsais.
Shit.
Hey, what's the counter? What's the counter say? 3, baby.
Anyway,
yeah, at least.
I'm now hooked. I'm like, okay, I'm going to care for this, and if I can really master the care of a bonsai,
yes,
I'm going to look into getting more. The thing is, they're not cheap.
That was $600.
They go into the thousands.
Dave balls, bro.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a baller, man.
Really?
Because I teach him drums sometimes. Okay. What he's done, he's got so much leeway in his life now.
He pays you in bonsais.
That he challenged himself a couple of years ago, to just do drums 3 hours a day and see how good he gets.
Right.
And so he's bought the most expensive gears, got a studio.
And he's got time
once in a while I teach him.
Wait, this is the bonsai guy?
This is the bonsai guy.
Okay, cool.
That's how much leeway he's got in his life. Like he can do side quests like that.
Oh, because he's selling bonsai.
Yeah.
And that's his whole hustle is bonsais.
I think it's his main hustle, I think. Yeah.
Wow. But with these things, you have to sit on them for a while before you can sell them.
Literally sit on them?
Yeah, some are 40. I wouldn't on that.
When it's moist.
But only when it's just touch it. It's pretty sturdy.
Can I touch it?
Just don't break it. It's sturdy, man.
Yeah, it's firm.
It's hardy.
Yeah.
It's firm, yeah.
Some of them are like 40 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
How old? Did you tell you how old this one is?
I think he said 10 as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
My mom's got an old one, yeah.
So how much was that?
That was only a couple of $100.
Coughs after. Maybe 6.
3,000.
That was just for the delivery. No. That was not expensive.
Duty.
Like he's got ones that are like thousands.
Do they get much bigger?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, right.
Like they're miniature, like trees.
Yeah,
so the big ones just look like insane. And some of them, the trunk, not just the branches, the whole thing trunks weave. Like he's got these wires that he wraps around the trunks so
they like don't
they grow in that weave.
Oh,
like,
right.
Oh,
That's
they gotta
right.
have a flow. They gotta look like they're dancing.
Yeah.
like they're what?
Like they're dancing. Bro,
100
you
What's his name?
you could have a new style.
called the bonsai.
Yeah, the bonsai. Everybody's kung fu fighting. The throat as fast as lightning. Was a little bit frightening. Everybody's kung fu fighting. I got sounds.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Hit it.
yeah. Wait.
There was funky China man.
Wait.
I really been mouth fucking this microphone. Sorry.
Mouth. You just this deep into it. Up to you.
With my Invisalign, damn it. Sorry. We have our own measurings on it.
Can you hear that? Can you guys hear that?
Yeah. So we're talking about deep throating the microphone. You should play. Oh,
my jokes.
Yes.
This is so cool, but I think it's cringy as fuck.
I love it. Yes. Yes, Lord.
Yeah. Anyway,
Dope.
let's not do that.
Dope.
That's hella dope. Bro, that's dope.
Right. I'm in two minds as to do we continue or do we get some food? We're like 2.5 hours in.
That's pretty good.
Is there anything that you guys, when you
I think we
were
should.
coming here thinking, oh, I'd like to chat about? So I feel like we've talked about so much cool shit.
Yeah, I think it leaves us open for an episode 2.
Oh,
Yes,
bro,
for
this
sure.
is literally the first of many.
Yeah.
You know, I want to do like Fight Companion, like put a screen up here and
I'd
watch
love that.
UFC fights and
Yeah.
just comment.
That'd be sick. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, just
I would
do
love that.
social commentary on just shit going on
Yeah,
in the world.
100%.
We'll pull up a TikTok and watch it and fucking talk about it.
I love all
we
that.
have a soundboard now to do whatever the fuck we want.
Yes, sir.
And you can literally put something up and like we could.
Yeah.
You don't even have to
See
see
that
it.
screen?
Yeah.
I will put that screen on top of the piano.
Hectic.
There's a beautiful 45-year-old upright concert grand piano right here that you'll never see.
We can't even flip the camera around to see it.
No, unfortunately.
He's lying. He's lying. It's a keyboard.
You'll probably see it's a Casio keyboard.
Casio.
You'll see it in some of my intros. I do my intros just around the apartment. Anyway, we'll put the screen up the top
Hectic.
and then watch
Yeah.
because we're not allowed to put it like for viewers to see on YouTube. And we can do it. I wanted to ask you, actually, there is one question I want to ask.
Love it.
We're obviously the three amigos. Right. Do you have anybody in your circles who you thought or considered to be the fourth amigo?
As a part of like,
Because I have,
Crazy. That's crazy talk, man. That's crazy talk.
I got a fourth microphone. So
Who's mutual to the three of us?
yeah, well, just somebody
Yeah.
that would align.
it might be dope to have like, we've got 2 musicians and 2 dancers.
I would like to get one of our female friends on.
That'd be sick. That changes the
Fourth amiga.
What's Kate Blanchett up to?
Hey, Jiu Jitsu.
Who would you get? Who would you get?
As a chick friend?
Yeah.
For the three?
Yeah.
I got a friend, Grace. Do you remember Grace Stewart? You remember if you saw her. I'll show you a photo of her after. She lives in LA
Sorry,
now.
Grace. I remember you, Grace.
Just in case.
Oh, really? Yeah, I've earmarked a few friends
like
that
back in
I would
sexy
love
Sunday.
to
Yeah.
Ah, yeah, cool.
bring here just to.
Who have you? You've
who have
clearly
you
got
got?
people.
I've got a few. I'm not going to name anyone yet
Yeah.
because we'll just surprise people with them. But yeah, I've got a few people that I'd love to just bring in and
Because
just see.
that's kind of perfect, isn't it?
Well, not just for that, but they align with us and
No, I'm just talking purely from a spacing perspective.
yeah, well, they'll get on my angle.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's why I've set it up so that I can have 4 people
I
conversations.
feel
at
like
some
some
point.
female energy would be
Oh, it'd be
welcome.
awesome.
Yeah.
It'd be
Yeah.
so cool. It's so
Call
cool.
us out on our bullshit.
Well, I mean, we're almost fucking feminine
Yeah, true.
as it is. So.
I do have a clit. Maybe you can cut that bit out.
No way. You said it, bro.
Mother's Day special, bro. Staying on that.
bro. I don't give a fuck. I'm not scared. A little bit
Shit.
scared. No. Yeah, I don't have anyone that jumps to my mind, but I will think of that. I don't know. It has to be someone who's a friend, obviously. Can't just be some like
Enemy. An enemy.
a foe.
Hey, imagine doing an episode where you bring on your ex
Oh, that fucking
and like you just publicly talk about your relationship.
anxiety.
Has anyone ever done that?
I think Bobby.
Is that a podcast?
Bobby Lee and Kalila have done that before.
Oh, yeah, sure.
To some degree, but they're still kind of friends though, so it's not as
Hell of a podcast if that exists. Bring an ex and chat.
I'm curious.
We do a round table, like you next to your ex, me next to my ex, you next to your ex.
Yeah. And then orgy at the end of it. It's crazy. We don't have to. We don't
You
have
know
to.
what? You'd have to have a mediator.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's the only way to do it. You'd have to have a mediator.
That's a wild idea, bro.
Yeah, with my ex, that'd be tricky.
Your face on.
That'd be real tricky.
I would love to, probably on our next episode, I would love to talk about our past relationships
Sure.
and how they've affected us, shaped us, triggered us, all that kind of stuff. I think that's important.
I'd be interested.
This is almost like just an introduction.
100%. I feel like we really we covered some like good
solid ground.
Awesome shit.
Yeah,
man.
like some introductory stuff as well.
Yeah, look, and again, it's my podcast. I can have you guys on if people hate you or not. If I read the comments and it's just
like
the
get
worst
rid of the
episode.
philo and the Greek.
The least watched episode. I'll still have you on. If anything, just for me. But yeah, I'm fucking hungry.
Yeah.
Andre and Shane, thanks for having us, bro.
Let's get some food, man.
Bro,
Thank you so much, bro.
Thank you for
Congrats.
coming down,
Thanks
man.
for having us.
Of course.
Well, now I feel like it's a fucking show.
Nah.
I don't need to thank you. It's like, dude.
Yeah, we're here.
Take it back.
We would have hung anyway.
I take my thanks.
I accept it, but you can take it back. But I just need you to know I have it in my heart.
Okay. Feedback. Give me some feedback. Like, publicly give me some feedback.
Publicly give you feedback.
Yeah. Feedback that you'd give me behind closed doors. And be honest. I want to get better. You know, I want to evolve in this space. I watch podcasters and I love the art of it. I actually love the art of conversation. That for me is super important. But like, there's so many things that I can learn and improve. And
look, I think just for me with podcasts, it's like, it's just making that very clear distinction between it being a formatted thing and it being like a free form kind of thing. But I think you very much made the choice of it being free form conversation, right?
It's free form, but I do weave in questions and themes.
Yeah, and I definitely felt that as well.
Yeah. I'm pretty aware that it has to be
totally
somewhat interesting to a viewer.
And I think the more you do this as well, the more, and like there was the comment, I feel like we just talked for 2.5 hours. Yeah. And there was 2 moments where you paused for 5 seconds, you know? Like,
forgot.
For effect. Slash, I forgot.
Yeah, he did.
The first one was pretty hectic. We were just sitting there like, I think my face was like, is he having like a stroke?
You know what? I just love fucking with people.
Yeah.
And in that moment there, I literally forgot what I was going to say.
But I think, you know, and the more you're just going to get more comfortable with, you know, operating in this format, because I think it is hard to like, especially when a conversation dips, it's like, how do I move this into another territory that's similar to where we are now, but it doesn't just feel like a complete 180 in the conversation, and then all of a sudden it feels like an interview. Like that's a real skill that only will come from doing it and doing it and doing it.
Of course, yeah. I quite often hate listening to interviews or whatever you call it, where you feel like the interviewer is not really listening because their next question
is like, no, it
has nothing to do with what that guy or woman has just said.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you can tell that, but they're thinking about what they're going to say next.
Exactly.
You can see in their eyes.
Yeah. As opposed to just really being in the moment and listening. Like for me, this whole concept is being in this moment. I have no idea what the fuck is happening.
Like unchained. Like, you know, you're not tethered to anything. You're just, you know.
I like that.
Yeah.
Woo.
Totally.
Woo.
Write that down, baby.
Woo.
Oh,
fuck. I didn't see that.
Oh, shit.
Oh, motherfucker.
You're fine.
I'm not doing that anymore. I did that on my episode with Dear Tommy.
Your 18th century table is fun. What is it again? Mid-century modern, that's it. Mid-century modern?
Not 18th century.
Yeah, I was close. I wasn't even close.
Does that furniture even exist? Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Mid-century. Mid-century modern?
It's just mid-century.
Mid-century.
This is from, I don't know, 50s? 40s?
Queefs are us. But yeah, I think it was for our first episode, bro. I think it was
solid,
great.
man.
Solid, dude.
Man, it's solid as this fucking table.
I appreciate you, man. I
Should we get some food?
Love our chats. 100.
Yeah.
When does it go?
Whenever I want it to.
Now.
Should we give it a musical outro?
Why don't you prompt it? Why don't you prompt the bam, the black?
3, 2, 1. That was cheesy as fuck. Let's not use that.
And see, that's the power of editing. I could like not let it happen there. And just leave you hang.
Let it like do it. Yeah, you can let it like pause, and then when I go to say the next sentence, then you you can really set me up.
That's probably what I'm going to do.
Oh, boys, a pleasure.
Later, dudes. Get some food, dudes.